Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's a Friday afternoon, and I found myself with a little bit extra time. Unfortunately, I was supposed to film with Dean in his fish room, but some unfortunate circumstances happened, and that won't be happening. So I got a little bit of time that I can work on. I had a very early meeting at 6 o'clock in the morning with YouTube about memberships and stuff. And so I said, I'll try out some features and that kind of stuff. So that's why today is a membership drive live stream. So what does that mean? That means that to be in the chat, you have to be a member. Well, not to be in the chat, to write a question or anything like that, you have to be a member. And we're trying to hit a new threshold just to get some more YouTube clout, if you will. This isn't like an ongoing thing. Next time it'll be fine or it'll be normal, whatever. So it's just a way to get some people off the fence if you're on the fence about joining, and hopefully pick up a few memberships and put on a show. Most people watch the live streams after the fact anyway. So getting set up here with my chat, and there we are. So pro tips for spawning fish. Food is an important one. I really rely on live and frozen foods a lot of times, and I mix in dry in between those. But for the most part, the live food is really the key. Like live baby brine, if you have live daphnia, and mosquito larvae, live black worms, Walter worms, banana worms, vinegar eels, all that stuff really does help. And the reason why it helps so much is it is a really good spawning trigger, but it's assumed that everyone has good quality dry foods anyway. And so that's why that's not talked about like quite enough, I would say. Dry foods are really important, but the difference in live foods, really it's a varied diet. And I would say for the most part, most fish, you don't need to cater to the water quality, not quality, parameters. That's the word I was looking for. Don't chase pH and hardness as much as you probably think you need to. Fish are pretty adaptive. Now, there are some species, like there's certain crebenza species and certain apistos and some shrimp that are very, very, very particular. But for the most part, 90% of everything you'll ever try to spawn will have this range that it is an acceptable range it will spawn in. And there's other limiting factors like compatibility between the pair, maybe even water temperature. Are you spooking the aquarium? Are they getting enough food? Those are all things that play a big role. So, any stocking recommendations for a 29 tall? Well, in fact, I just shot a video. I just shot a video about the 29 30-gallon tanks today because I had to get videos ready because just a second, I have to answer my Robert, who's managing the store. There we go. My apologies. So what were my tips? Mostly you could do a single goldfish. You could do the quintessential apistogramma, cardinal tetra. What is that other fish called? Brain fart. Hatchet fish trifecta. And there's like an unheated tank and some other things like that too, which that video will come out in about 3 or 4 weeks. Wanted to line up a bunch of videos because Jimmy will be moving here like next week. So he'll be moving all his possessions. The computer will be down. We won't have access to editing and stuff like that. So we had to pre-line and get some stuff going. A couple new members. Thank you very much. We're moving towards that goal. And that's how you get to chat today. Which I'm going to have to repeat quite a few times because I would assume that people, I already know we've done this one other time, I think, and people were angry and all of that. But it's need to test some of these features, and so there's only some way to test this by using it, and so I need to. How do people harvest brine shrimp twice from the same batch? Do you have to pour the salt water back into the hatcher after straining out the shrimp? When it comes to brine shrimp, they're photosensitive, so that means they're attracted to light. And so you can get it where all of the brine shrimp will go towards the light. And then you could siphon those out. And then you'd have mostly eggs and very few brine shrimp left. You could then let that hatch or tumble for another 12 to 24 hours, and then you'd get some more eggs that hatch, right? There are ways to do it in which you would strain all of the brine shrimp out, use a brine shrimp sieve, which I don't have laying around here. I'm not a fan of that method. Dean does like that method. And then you would pour that water back in, you're correct. And you could either A, add some more eggs, or B, wait to see if more hatch out. Now, I'm kind of the guy, let's perfect the first hatching and say, let's say that takes 30 hours, 24 hours, maximize how we get 95% of those eggs to hatch anyway, and then move on from there. Because kind of, time is money and all of that, and I need lots of brine shrimp, and yes, you can run multiple brine shrimp hatcheries, like Dean does. But I'm just I just run one. My lazy level is up to here. So. Yes, USPS is missing scans, so tracking isn't updating, but good news, the orders are arriving. Yep, we reached out to USPS and basically they say COVID, short staffing, scans are getting missed, but we're not noticing huge delays in deliveries or anything like that. And so, if you don't see an update and then it just shows up tomorrow, that's kind of what's going on. And until they hire more staff or figure out whatever it is they got to figure out, that's the way it'll be. Better food for plecos and encistrus. Well, plecos are encistrus, or encistrus are plecos. I like Repashy bottom scraper, or scratcher, I guess. And that's mainly the one, I would say. Like, if I was really trying to do something with them, I would feed Repashy bottom scratcher. Well, or community. But Repashy food is what I'd be feeding. If I'm going, how do I work with this specific fish, it would always be that. Now, they'll eat tons of things. They'll eat frozen food. They'll eat flakes. They'll eat almost anything. They're a detritivore, right? So they'll eat nearly any garbage. But if I was specifically trying to really target feed them, that's how I would do it. Interesting Corydora species keeping a 55 with 1 panda cory and 4 emerald cories. Well, I would say first get more of those cories. They like to be in bigger groups. So let's assume you were going to modify those numbers. Then you might try something like Barbados Corrydoras that can go cooler water and they get larger and they get this gold head to them. I've got videos on them. They're one of my favorite types of Corrydoras. So, and they're expensive. They also sell well also. So that's usually how things go. If you pay a lot of money for it, if you breed it, usually it's worth some money when you go to sell it as well. But if you can't breed it, then it's just a big money sink, right? It's like eating 10 candy bars. Well, if I don't make candy bars, then it costs me a lot of money. What bigger cichlid can I keep in a community with larger tetras in a 75-gallon? I would recommend you look into a Jurapari, which is a geophagus earth-eating cichlid. You'll see those coming up in like a couple of videos. I've got them in with some fish in my fish room. One of my absolute favorite fish over the last, 10 plus years. I really like them. They're relatively docile because they're eating and sifting through sand and things like that. They're not as likely to go, let me eat that tetra, because it doesn't really see the tetra or the small fish as food. It usually is looking for a mouthful of sand and dirt and finding little crustaceans. So, yeah, I think they look amazing, and there are other ones, but instead of spending all day talking about here's the 22 cichlids you could do, I'll just talk about my favorite. So, does anyone know if Planaria is eating bristlenose eggs? I doubt it. I gotta be honest, this whole Planaria thing, I swear it's like the whole internet's like on a Planaria, like, oh my god, I got worms kick. And I've literally never had a problem, ever. I'm not sure I know a person that's actually had a problem that's like an actual breeder or anything. And not that you wouldn't get Planaria or anything like that. I just think people are freaked out that they're bad and that they are not nearly as destructive as they're made out to be. It's kind of like assassin snails. Like, 4 people on the planet have had them eat a shrimp, and now like 50% of people think they're killers. And it's like, I don't know. I've had thousands of assassin shrimp and tens of thousands of shrimp. Never, did I say assassin shrimp? Assassin snails, and massive amounts of shrimp. And I've never witnessed it, ever. So I think it's one of those things that we're reducing things on the internet. It's the same thing we see in reviews, right? So if you go look at a product on a website and there's 3 people that say this product sucks, there could be 40,000 people that love that product, but they didn't leave a review, but you just know like, oh, I got to watch out for that, right? And so I think that's what goes on. There's far fewer people, you know, for all the fish we sell at the store, you never hear about them again unless there's a problem. You just don't. So, you know, like sometimes an employee will be like, oh man, it seems like a lot of people are having a problem with this fish. I'm like, well, how many? Well, like 3 people in last week. Like we sold 700. And you're telling me that 3 people out of like 100 people had problems? Like that's I wouldn't say that's a big problem. That's probably 3 anomalies lined up in the same week, and it seems like something because that's what human brains do. But, you know, is there some way where you have 25 pounds of Planaria in a tank and that is detrimental somehow? Sure, I'm sure there's those outliers. But for the most part, I bet you I have Planaria in every single one of my aquariums, and yet 80% of my aquariums are actively making fry, whether it's bristlenose, guppies, some other surprise fry that you'll see in a video, other egg layers, those types of things. And so I do think a lot of us, we boil down breeding, right, into steps. Like, I fed the good food, I changed the good water, I bought the good genes, I'm supposed to be collecting my millions of dollars. I'm not collecting my millions of dollars. Therefore, must be Planaria, or that snail, or that algae, or that hydra, or that, what else could possibly be bad? I think there's a water flea. It's got to be that, right? And the reality is, when you look at the wild, there is infinite bad stuff going on in the wild. Look at that thing. That's a nymph. Look at that thing. That's a water beetle. Oh my God, that thing's boring through its head. Like, there is so much adversity out in the wild where these fish spawn that our aquarium could not be an easier life to spawn these fish. And so when it comes down to like, I think I've got a problem with the slowest, least movable object in my aquarium preventing this very agile fish from being able to breed, you know, it's kind of crazy. It's like, you know, I think that baby duckling over there is preventing me from going to work. It's like, no, it's not. Like, that it can't physically stop you, but we're using it as an excuse. And, you know, there definitely are ways, like, let's say you've got a wicked snail problem and they are eating your angelfish eggs. Like, well, one, you have a wicked snail problem. So that's, you know, maybe reduce that from 4 billion snails to like 60 snails. And then 2, like, leave the light on at night so your angelfish don't go to sleep, and then they will continue to be like, hey, snail, you're coming this way. Get out of here. That's what they do. They're parents. They guard, right? So yeah, that's, you know, it's going to come across as harsh, but I do believe that there is this worry, and that the thing is, you can search online. You could search like the craziest thing, like aquarium fish plus anything, and you're going to find a thread on it in some old forum. And then 2 other people will be like, yes, that crazy thing happened to me too. Now there's 3 people that have had a crazy thing happen out of 3 billion aquarists. But now it's like a legitimate thing. And that's what I fear is going on for us here. So, but in general, like, Planaria, it's great fish food, you know? And yes, is there 20 different types of Planariids, and do I know exactly which one you have? No, I don't. Is there probably one that will, you know, bite your arm off? Probably somewhere. There's lots of stuff in nature that we don't fully understand, or something like that. So, will snails interfere with shrimp breeding? They won't interfere with the actual breeding process, but they can compete for food, or calcium out of the water, sometimes they provide calcium too. If their shells are going not going down, it's not the right word, dissolving, they could actually be adding calcium back in, right? And then also, there's actually a symbiotic relationship between snails and shrimp, where the snail eats food, poops it out, and now it's got bacteria and it's being digested, and that's actually an easier form of food to eat for the shrimp. So when things aren't horribly out of whack, it's actually beneficial. And I don't have the studies or anything to prove any of this, but I would actually highly suspect that Planaria is the same way with shrimp. The fact that they're consuming and eating things and they go to the bathroom is furthering microfauna and other food for shrimp. So that would be my take on it. In general, I am a guy that goes, nature kind of has it figured out. The more we fight against nature, we're probably making it harder on ourselves. There's always extremes, though. You know, the 4 billion snails in a small tank, that's going to be a problem for the most part. Tank mates to prevent guppy overpopulation. I would try starting with like a couple of African dwarf frogs. They're kind of clumsy. They'll eat some of the fry and stuff like that, but they're not like a fish that could just chase stuff down. So yeah, they, you know, and I don't know the ratio, like one frog eats 30 fry a month or anything like that, but other people we've recommended that to in the store, we're like, yeah, that actually worked out pretty good. Because most people don't want all of them gone. They just don't want 4 billion of them. And so you're looking for somewhere like, I want to look like a good, healthy stock tank, but not have a problem on my hands. What's my ideal temp for hatching brine shrimp? For me personally, it is whatever I'm running my fish room temperature at. And typically for me, in my fish room, that's 74 or 75 degrees is what I run. And normally I will get a hatch at 18 to 24 hours, anywhere in between there, what is convenient for me. I do run a light on my brine shrimp, and that will probably elevate it by a degree or two. So we might be looking at 76, 77 degrees. You could probably optimize it, but I definitely see diminishing returns in doing stuff like that. And I also hatch out a lot of brine at once, and so the higher you take that temperature, the less oxygen is typically left in the water, especially like if I'm hatching multiple tablespoons in like one of the brine shrimp hatchers, brine shrimp hatchers, which are back in stock, by the way. If it's 30 hours, sometimes I'll foul the water and lose it all because I'm riding that edge of maximum hatching out of there. And so I like to give myself some breathing room, so you could like, oh, I didn't harvest at 4. I went to dinner and I came back at 7. And if they're all dead, I wasted an entire day and I wasted money, and my fish don't get as nice of a treat. I would much rather err on the side of like, well, run a little bit cooler, a little bit less eggs, give myself some Corey's gonna screw this up room. And that's because if you make it too difficult on yourself, it's not fun, and you're destined for failure, and I don't enjoy that. So thank you to all the new members. This is a member drive-a-thon. I'm trying to get to 1,500 members, because I don't know how many people have done that on YouTube. I'm sure there's like, oh, you're Mr. Beast and you have 40 million people or whatever, but like normal people like me, where it's just like, you know, I'm just an educational YouTuber, that would be kind of a rare thing. And so that's why they want to talk to me, because it's one thing if you have 2,000 members, but you have 40 million subscribers. It's another thing to be like, well, we have 400,000, we're trying to get to 1,500. And that's an anomaly to YouTube of like, wow, people might actually like what you're doing. And so they wanted, I can't speak too much about insight on how it's going and what they can do to improve it. And I definitely brought up people's plight of, you know, why doesn't a lot of the membership features work on an iPad? And they were like, yeah, we know about that. And I was like, great, fix it. That'd be great, you know. So, but that's how you start the dialogue. Let's see if I refresh the page here. We are up to 1445. How do we know brine shrimp is hatched? I've got San Francisco area brine shrimp hatchery kit. My temp is around 75, but brine shrimp hasn't hatched since 72 hours. I mean, that's a pretty long time. Normally, when you're going to see brine shrimp, you're going to see they're going to be orange things kind of buzzing around, shaking in the water. That would be the brine shrimp that has hatched out. At 72 hours, I'd be afraid maybe the eggs are bad, maybe your water isn't salty enough or hard enough, or something's like not quite right. It's kind of like baking a cake and you're like, the cake came out this tall, like it didn't rise or anything like that. Like, well, something that went in while you were mixing it all up's not right. And you got to play the game of like, oh, I used the wrong flour. Oh, I used the wrong thing here. Or, oh, I didn't know you're not supposed to do that. So there's got to be something in there, because 72 hours is pretty long. And I'm not saying you won't get a hatch, but I definitely would have been like, I did something wrong. That ain't going to work. But, yeah, I think it's, like, I really recommend using the Fritz RPM salt, which is a marine salt. Don't dechlorinate the water. Chlorine actually helps dissolve the eggs, helps them hatch. Right temperature. I don't use an air stone. I just use an open-ended rigid tubing. So it's kind of like, a steady stream of bubbles. Like if you're hatching eggs, like angelfish eggs or something like that. Yeah, there could be something in your water too. I don't know. That just seems a little... I'd give it another try, go, okay, well, let me try to figure out what's going wrong here. BM3 Aquatics got to run. We'll see you later. See you on the forum, probably. I like it when the usernames kind of match up, because I can remember, oh, that's that person. What do I think on ideas for a 55-gallon cichlid tank? Well, it depends what type of cichlids, but I would go with Yellow Labs and Demasoni for Mabuna African, dwarf Africans. Order confirmed yesterday at 2:25 p.m. Shipped the same day at 4:07. That's right. That's right. We're actually hiring, by the way. I think we've got it listed on Indeed and that kind of stuff. We need a couple more people maybe up to a couple more people for the warehouse. If that is something that interests you and you won't be devastated if we don't choose you, you can send a resume to careers@aquariumcoop.com. I already know we have someone lined up for a trial, but not everyone works out. Some people go, this job's not for me, or whatever. And so, but I do know we're looking for like 1 to 2 people to maintain that record. Like right now, we've shipped 367 orders today, and there's 15 more to go out, and we have about 30 minutes until mail pickup. So we'll probably get all those out today. If you place an order right now, it might not make the cutoff, but we're pretty late in the day if you're on the East Coast. But I try to overstaff to continually get things out as fast as possible. There was a snafu last weekend. You guys bought a lot of stuff, and not every single thing shipped the first day like it should have. That signaled to me, hire more people. We didn't deliver on that. That was a failure on us. So we did have someone like call out sick, and there, it wasn't just like a total epic failure, but at the end of it all, the end user just goes, hey, it didn't ship. They don't care that, oh, the internet was having a problem, someone called out sick, this went on. All they know is that we didn't fulfill our promise, and so we'll build in more redundancy and make sure we do. That's what we really try and just do that. Just try to, if we're gonna say we're gonna do something, let's just try and do it. And if we don't do it, let's try harder to do it. That's all we can do. Would you use Vitachem on snails for pea puffer nutrition? Probably not. What I would do is I would feed the snails high quality food. So I'd feed them flake foods and pellets and things like that, and then feed them. So like I would literally feed them in the morning, let them eat all day, and then feed them to the puffer like maybe at night. So that way they've got it in their stomach. The snails got it in their stomach, hasn't pooped it out yet, and those nutrients will enter the inside of that fish. Ooh, how goes my hunt to get a fly river turtle? Well, I did get a fly river turtle, just it's not alive. I'll show you guys though, because I don't think I've shown it on camera, and people keep coming into my fish and I'm like, what is that? And so I'll show you. I got a skateboard with a fly river turtle on it. Oh. And it has a rainbow fish. But Sam Scales, who does some art, I think Randy linked this to me, and I was like, man, that's got to go on my fish room somewhere. It came with some hardware to mount it to the wall. But yes, the fly river turtle dream still alive. Still hope to get my hands on a legal one. And, we'll see if that dream comes true someday. It's the hardest part is the whole legal part of it, and then making sure that I can do this animal justice. So we need 2 parts there, and one part would be legal animal available to me, meets me at the time of I can afford the $20,000 to $30,000 enclosure setup, all of that to do a turtle like that justice. So yeah, we'll see if that ever lines up, because it's a long goal. Got a lot of money to make that happen, and then a lot of the right things. And someone's got to trust you, whether it's a zoo or something like that, that basically after something's been confiscated or smuggled in, then they kind of rehome them to zoos and things that have professional level care or setups to watch over this like endangered animal. And so that's where I feel like a commitment to do my best. I mean, I have that commitment to like all of my pets and fish, but it's even more so when someone's going to be entrusting you. And it's like, with like Mabu puffers, yeah, I have large aquariums and everything, and I've got experience, and, I have bred other turtles. By the way, some turtles are going to be showing up on the Steenfod Aquatics channel, by the way. But I'm not an expert, especially when it comes to fly river turtles. Have I read a bunch about them? Sure. Do I think they're super cool? Yes. Have I known other people that have had them? Yes. But that doesn't mean that I've got 10 years with them or anything. So it'll be a learning experience. I'll be taking it very serious. I'll really hope that I'm not the guy that like, remember when that guy got that thing and killed it on the internet? What a bozo that guy is. Hopefully that's not me, but I would be very elated if that ever works out. All right. I've got 12 mystery snails that won't breed even after the water level dropped by 3 inches. Have you made sure the top is tight fitting so it's nice and humid up there? Feed them quite well. Make sure the water's not too acidic. But in general, I would say that they just need time and the right conditions. I mean, but that's what every fish or snail needs. So what I look at that as I go, okay, well, if it's been time, if it's been 3, 4, 5 months or something, and they're not doing anything, something in my setup is not correct. Do I have enough calcium? Is it humid enough? What's the water temperature? Because you've got enough snails there, boy, girl, all that should be working just fine. Jake says, a Fluval plant 3.0 not producing much light for a 22-inch deep tank, even for low light plants. Do I need a stronger light, or should I persist and try something else? Well, my guess is either you don't have it turned up all the way, or you don't own a par meter to test it, because this is a 40-inch deep tank with Fluval 3.0s, and it's plenty bright. Like, it's blowing out that it's so bright, and I've tested it, and even at 40 inches in depth, well, this is actually, if you add the substrate, it's more like 38 inches at depth, it's still like 18 par. 40 par will grow anything on the planet. So at 22 inches, you're probably like 40, 60, somewhere in there of par. You should be growing anything. So my advice would be don't spend more money on lights, because that's expensive and probably not the problem. I would make sure that the settings are correct and it's appropriate light. I would make sure you're not running out of fertilizers. I would make sure your top is clean. There's got to be something there, because I just know that 22 inches isn't that deep, and that light is very strong. And if you're having trouble with even low light, there's just something not right there. It's easy. It's kind of like someone saying, I keep screwing up making cereal. I have milk and I've got cereal. And then you're like, but that's impossible. You put the two together, you make cereal. It's like two known things. Like there's, So that's what I would see there. I'm like, you got that light and you got that tank. Like, that's just known to grow plants. So there's something we're missing here. I'm like, oh, the top is totally, or it wasn't turned up all the way, or, whatever that random element's going to be like, oh, that's what it was. Is it dangerous to increase a school of cardinal tetras? Some of my local fish stores said they could carry genetic viruses, and mixing schools will probably result in some dead fish. I don't know if I could say probably. I mean, that's like saying humans carry diseases. Mix with humans, and you'll probably die. Like, I mean, yes, that could happen. Probably is a strong statement. I would say mitigate the risk. So if you have 20 cardinal tetras, don't add 2 a week for the next 30 weeks. Like that is unnecessarily risky. That would be like, I'm going to go visit the hospital every week just because, instead of going when you actually need to go to the hospital. So if you want 30 more cardinal tetras, bring them home, quarantine them. They look great. Add them to the other ones. And what you might find is the video coming out on Sunday specifically talks about quarantining tetras and the tetras that are in my fish room. Spoiler alert. And you can see I talk about this very question on wanting to mix the two groups before I mix them with another fish, right? Because there is always some risk, but I would hesitate to say probably carries something like that, because you would hear that all the time. No one would ever buy more than one set of cardinal tetras ever, because it would be just known, like, you can't mix them, they always die. That's not true though. So but is the risk higher than not mixing any? Well, of course. I have more chance of choking to death if I eat a Snickers than if I don't eat anything. I mean, there's always going to be some risk, but maybe you don't try to eat the Snickers that's the 8-pound thing in one bite. Like, maybe you go, oh, I'm going to take a bite of this and chew it thoroughly and take proper precautions so that you're not running into that likely problem. Always cereal before milk. Yes, of course. You say that like there's another option. There's not. Oh, man. I got 20 neon tetras from PetSmart 3 weeks ago. Did the med trio. I have 8 left. I got 16 from Aquahuna and have them in quarantine, and none have died. Scared to mix them with the others. What to do? Mix them with the others. Like, there's no other option. If you want a big school, that's what you have to do. My video will talk about this kind of stuff, because what likely has happened, just from the way that's written, in your mind, you're probably like, PetSmart's fish suck. And the reality is, they probably came from the same farm starting point. It's actually the way they might have been cared for, or the way you bought them. And in my case, you'll see I bought them from the same farm 1 week apart and had drastically different results in the exact same setup. So it'll show you there's variance even in that, and you can't run, well, I shouldn't say you can't. A hobbyist as myself can't run a more scientific experiment. I'm not willing to run a more scientific thing. And I think when you guys watch, you'll be like, yes, none of us as hobbyists are going to do more scientific tests than that, because that's a lot of money and a lot of work, and there's nothing to gain from it other than watching this video. So, all right. Ellen says, I did watch the video. That would be impossible for the video I'm talking about, because that video hasn't come out yet. So it'll be out Sunday. But you have seen some behind the scenes stuff about some tetras, but I did film a specific video about something similar to what you're talking about. So that hopefully will shed some light. But yes, I think at some point, you have 2 options. It's like you have a dog, you adopt another dog, and then you say they fight. Well, the option is try and work with them and get them to live together, or give one of the dogs away. You're in the same boat with these neon tetras. Like, you either try to keep them together and they live happily ever after, or they don't. I think it's very likely you could get them to live together, because I've done it a billion times and wouldn't even bat an eye to do it again. So, and I think most people would say, like, well, of course I've added tetras. And just because, maybe it's like a relationship or something. Well, I dated someone once and we broke up and it was horrible, so I'll never date again. It's like, yeah, but look at all the people that have broken up, found someone else, broke up again, found someone else, and they're doing okay. Same thing here. Like, yep, you had one set of Tetris that did poorly. You have another set that's doing better. That doesn't mean that the next set from Aquahuna wouldn't do poorly or the next set from PetSmart wouldn't do well. They're all individual animals, different care, different circumstances, different days, different temperatures, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, when you're looking at data sets, and maybe this whole live stream should just be about data sets, when we look at small numbers like under 10, under 100 repetitions of something, the data doesn't really mean something on a grand scale. You know, if I eat 3 candy bars and I choke every time, that data is hyper relevant to me, and I now have a belief that like Snickers candy bars are trying to kill me, right? But if you look at collectively of Snickers, you're like, oh, 3 people died from eating Snickers bars last year. Okay, well, out of what, 3 billion of them sold? Like, that's really low. But you would never change my mind. They're trying to kill me. So, you know, we always put our own experiences higher priority than data for the most part. And so I think as you know, if you kept ordering more and more and more and more Neon Tetris and you had more chances of quarantining and other things, not only would you get better at doing it, but you would see that over a swath of a lot of Neon Tetras, you'd probably go, oh, okay, well, the odds, the average, is this what's going on? And you can definitely, you know, it's like flipping a coin. Every time you flip it, there's 50-50 chance. But then you flip it, you're like 4 times in a row is heads? What are the odds of that? It's insane. 5, 6, 7? And then you could like tell someone about it, and then your buddy tries it, and they can't get it to even do it twice. But there's literally the same chance every time you flip it. But that's, you know, odds and statistics, and it's weird, and the human brain has a hard time dissociating from that. So, new members all around. Good to hear. Wow, Danny's Aquariums at 1 year, 11 months, and 22 days. Ouch, Danny, you're never going to get the 2-year thing because I'm never live streaming again. No, that's not true. I totally am, but it'll be fun to see that happen. You got me at Snickers. That's right. No joke, full disclosure. I was going to do a poll that was Snickers versus M&Ms, and instead I just ate both these fun-sized candies while waiting to go live. Because I was like, hungry? Why wait? Ooh, speaking of which, I do need to do a poll. So I need you guys, you got to help me with this, because YouTube thinks I'm crazy. I'm going to make a poll, and for like the next 2 or 3 minutes, I need you guys to type a lot of stuff. Because I believe there to be a bug that when I'm trying to make a poll, every time someone sends a message, it resets everything. And so I want to be able to test that. And if it's doing it, then I'm going to say, all right, guys, keep it up. I'm going to film this so I can hand it to YouTube. Because they weren't able to recreate it, but I didn't have proof when it happened to me, 3 weeks ago when I tried this poll thing. So I'm going to try it now. You guys will hopefully be typing. Let's add. So I'm not having a problem yet. Add another option. Maybe it's fixed, or maybe there's no problem. What's another candy bar? No, it's not even a candy bar, but Skittles. Gross. Skittles. I can only do 4 options, so I'm going to try it anyway. Seems to not be a problem. All right, well, this will eventually catch up and you'll be like, oh, he's heard and he doesn't need us to spam anymore. But, you know, while you're spamming, go ahead and hit that like button. And I'm going to be real sad, by the way, if Skittles win. I don't know if I can go on as a creator if Skittles win. Like, not that I wouldn't eat a Skittle, like, if I was literally going to die and I was stuck in another country and I couldn't speak the language and there was a pack of Skittles there, I'd eat it. But it's definitely the last candy in the drawer type of scenario. Will lava rock filter at the center like saltwater live rock or just on the surface area? No, you can get denitrifying bacteria. Denitrifying bacteria. Why does my brain not want to remember the more scientific term? I'll catch up. But yes, you can. Just like saltwater rock. Denitrifying bacteria, but what is it called? Brain, go. Go, brain, go. It's oxygen devoid. Oh well. My brain will catch up, but it's already... I need another candy bar. Oh, no. Oh, no. Almond Joy or Mounds? Only the Almond Joy. Every bite of an Almond Joy that doesn't have the almond is not a joy. It's gross. You gotta go with the Almond Joy. Ooh, paydays. Those are legit. Yeah, they found it and fixed it. What problem? That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm 100% sure it was working that way, but there's nothing worse when you can't recreate. Oh, well, let me try and create another poll. Maybe it's only the second poll you create, because now I see my avatar is blinking, and so I'm going to try. Or maybe that's every time a vote comes through. Could that be it? Ah, so my avatar blinks every time someone places a vote. Maybe that's got something to do. But I'm going to try another vote in a bit and see if it's like, oh, it's the second vote, you fool. Yeah, denitrification, but there's a name for that specific bacteria. Anaerobic. Oh my gosh, brain aneurysm. Yeah. Yes, and now I see it in the chat, but I'll have to take my own thing that I read denitrification, then my brain finally kicked in. Like, it's got to be some kind of association. Denitrification, anaerobic. Like, I've got that association. Then I read it, so to you guys, it'll look like I'm just reading it to look smart, but I know in my own brain, I knew it. Just a little. I'm not just a little slow. I'm slow most of the time. Coconut is almost as gross as marshmallow in a candy bar. True. I didn't even put, I didn't put Almond Joys on the list. I'm just saying, if you got to eat an Almond Joy or a Mounds, like let's say you're 37 like me, and you're out trick-or-treating like I do, and you walk up to a house and they present you with Mounds or Almond Joy. There's no question you take the Almond Joy. It's not like they're offering you a Snickers or something else. Like, it's towards the end of the night. Everyone's dug through. You got some like Shock Tarts, an Airhead, Mounds, and an Almond Joy. The clear choice is the Almond Joy, just to like recoup the energy to walk back down that driveway. There's choices you got to make sometimes in life that are real hard, and that's one of them. All right, Reese's Pieces are great. I like it. Milk Duds or Rolos? I think you got to go Rolos. I think it's just like it's another level of cool. I don't know. Sudden nitrite spike in an established cycled aquarium. Nitrite spike. You can get that from overfeeding a little bit, disrupting some bacteria sometimes. I'm trying to think how I would specifically replicate that if I was trying to. I'm not sure how I would actually replicate that in a reliable way. So I'm not sure what would always cause it, but usually a disruption somewhere. Overfeeding, killing some bacteria, something like that. Kit Kats are amazing. Wait, twin snakes? Is that a can? Okay, now I gotta go to the Googling. I mean, a man of my stature, it's not often someone mentions a candy bar and I don't know what it is. You learn something new every day. It's a type of gummy bear that is like a Siamese twin gummy worm. What? Mind blown. One of the worms is sour and one is sweet. May have to try that. That's on another level. That's like, can you imagine a candy bar? Like, let's say a Twix, right? You got a Twix. One of them is Snickers. One is Reese's. They're on another level. What are you going to do about that? What's the best substrate for apistogramma tanks? Technically, it would be a very, very fine sand because they are micro sand sifters. If you actually get like a macro lens and you watch them, they'll actually sift very, very fine sand. Now, almost any substrate will work for them. If you really want to see that behavior, that's what they'll do. But almost anything works really well for them, honestly. But if you're really trying to optimize. Gummy Coke bottles? Ugh. My wife loves those, but no. Ugh. We get too far away from chocolate, and it's just, not good. I don't even call it candy anymore. Have I done an update on the tank in the background? I think there'll be a little bit of it on Sunday. Yeah, you'll see it a little bit more in depth. The next couple weeks, you see a little more on it. What are my feelings on hollow decor? Is the stagnant water bad? I don't think so. So imagine this, like we were talking a little bit earlier about a piece of lava rock and anaerobic bacteria being in the center of that. That happens when you don't get a lot of flow, right? So then, if you don't have a lot of flow inside your decoration, you might be growing anaerobic bacteria. That's kind of a good thing. I myself haven't run into any problems in all of my years with, everything was going great until I had that one piece of decor with bad water flow. I've never been able to attribute anything to that. That doesn't mean it's not responsible for every fish I've ever lost in my life. It just means I've never seen it. So I don't think it's something to worry about, really. I think you're more worried about like a fish getting stuck in decor or something like that. But in terms of just stagnant water, I would say no problemo. I'm glad to see that Snickers and Reese's came out on top. I'm shocked that Mr. Goodbar is the worst. You people need to get some candy culture in your life, because Mr. Goodbar is everything that's right in the world. You got peanuts, you got chocolate. It's great. It's marvelous. Even if you get them as like the little minis, oh man, so good. I definitely don't think they're that far behind Skittles. I'm a little offended, actually. I'm going to try to do another poll if this one ever... Okay, I ended that one. Let me try to do another one to see if it... Oh, yeah, it even posts the polls with 401 votes. Oh, let me try it again. Yes! Okay, so the bug is happening. Now I'm going to film it. You guys get to be part of the legit feedback to YouTube. Which, I always think that's kind of cool, because what we're going to do right here will literally make the entire YouTube platform better. And that's why I work with them. So, all right, YouTube, we are in a live stream. I'm actually live with people. I ran a poll for, like 10 minutes or something about candy bars. And that happened. We had 401 votes for information. Now when I go to make another poll, because I was trying to recreate the problem that I tried to show you guys last time, as I click on here, you see how it goes away every time someone types. That makes it impossible to do another poll, because you try to type and you're like, oh, it goes away every time. And so I know my YouTube partner was saying you guys couldn't replicate it. It's probably because you didn't have, maybe it was live, and a second actual poll. And that's the bug we run into. So I'll end that video. That's probably enough for your guys developers to figure it out. And say thank you to all these members for helping me figure that out. And just like that, we've changed the world for the better, one Friday at a time. Whoo! That's how it's done. No, that's good. Hopefully they will fix that. I mean, I don't know how many times I'm actually going to need to run multiple polls, but hey, could be another bug down the road, or maybe some other creators pulling their hair out because it doesn't work. So we got it. Got it documented, and hopefully they're going to see that and they're going to go, hey, this guy's actually trying to help. Let's help his channel or whatever, or give a new feature to play with. Because this was a feature they rolled out early so that I could test, because I will say, like, this thing's broken. Fix it. So I'm happy about that. I really do, whether it's my own company, another company, like when someone like, hey, can you document that? Because I know how frustrating it is. Like, your thing's broken, doesn't do a thing. Oh, I can't get it to be broken. No, trust me, it's broken every time. If you don't know how, it's frustrating. You pull your hair out going, I know it. They said it happened again, but they can't replicate it. I don't know what's going on. See how we're doing on the membership drive. Call in now. Pledge your support. We are up to 1,454. We need a mere 46. That's easy. That's easy. It's not easy. It's actually really hard to get 46 members. Let's see. We got 891 people hanging out on a Friday night talking about candy and YouTube bugs. That just summed up my Friday night, actually, except I just happened to be live. Ooh, it's Saturday where you're at? It's got to be what? Europe? I'm thinking UK, maybe New Zealand, Australia. Do we get random stickers if we buy Easy Green in Canada? I don't believe so. I think you get a green Aquarium Co-op sticker. Maybe at someday. Like, you know, there's only so much to do. I mean, I'm sure at some point someone in the warehouse will be like, shouldn't we do stickers like that? And I'll be like, sure, yeah, I guess. Do it. But for right now, we don't have that rolling out yet. I'm part of a Guinness record group for the largest air guitar jam here in the 909. Well, if you're going to be known for something, largest air guitar jam, it's right up there on my list of like, whew, known for being a good guy, known for helping the aquarium hobby, and then largest guitar jam. I put that at number 3, life goal. No, I do find stuff like that just like super fun, you know. I don't know why. Maybe I would say maybe I'm a nerd. There's no maybe about it. I'm a nerd. Are the stickers offered as a package? Ooh, Noah, they're not yet. I suppose I could, but we know we have like another 22 of them to be made. I think we're going to find some way to do like a 30 pack of them at some hopefully reasonable price. These stickers are not the cheapest things in the world, but yeah. Someone needs a timeout, Craig. Craig's fish. He loves Skittles. Oh man. A shrimp sticker would be pretty cool. We've got one in the works, or at least it's on the to-doer list. Like we sent it over to the artist. He's working down a list. Definitely shrimp is on there. You know, it's actually kind of hard if I tell you, like, come up with 30 fish that kind of represent different facets of the hobby, and you get to like 12, 15, 20, they're like, what else do we do? And oh no, we actually timed that guy out. Oh geez. Well, take no personal offense, Krager's fish. I do find it hilarious, but also I feel bad. So, by all means, I do appreciate your Skittles love. I want to do a ton of stickers on my fish room fridge, which is in your dorm room. I like it. My favorite thing is when I see kind of co-op swag in the wild. It doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while, you'd be like, wait a second, that's my sticker. Or I don't think I've seen it happen yet where I've seen the Aquarium Co-op luggage tag. You got to be kind of original gangster to have one of those. We haven't given out those in years. Do people remember the Aquarium Co-op like drink koozies? I think I've got one or two somewhere in the house. Yeah, there's a lot of little things that I want to do more of that kind of stuff down the road, by the way. How about a sticker of a taco chihuahua? For now, we're sticking to the fish, but yes, more stickers more of the time. I just like that I have dedicated mods. They'll go to war for me. This guy says he likes Skittles. Get him. All right. Let's find some more useful questions to the people. Looking. Fish stuff. Got to be somewhere. Talking about stickers. Oh, here we go. Can I overdose dewormer? The dose suggests it for 100 gallons, but I have 65 and a 20. You can overdose meds. Yeah. if you were to have an 85 gallon, you dose for 100 gallons, it's probably not that much of an overdose, but you should make an earnest attempt to put the right dosage in. And so maybe you take like enough for 100 gallon and you split it in half. Now you've at least got 50 gallons worth and 50 gallons worth, and then maybe split one of those 50 gallons in half. So now you've got 75 and 25, and those would probably be correct enough dosages if that's the way it's got to be done. Now, you could get a scale if it talks about how many grams per 100 gallons, or you can also do what I've had to do in the past is you take whatever the powder is, and maybe you mix it into 10 milliliters of water, and then you mix that really, 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 really well, and then you know you could dose 6.5 milliliters into one tank and 2 milliliters into the other tank, and that will get you pretty close also. But it depends on the med, how well does it dissolve, and I'm sure there's like pharmacy people or scientists is losing their mind. Like, you can't just be mixing stuff like that. Like, you can't guarantee that X amount was soluble in this amount of water and all that. But from a home hobbyist standpoint, that's as close as I can get, because I'm not that level science nerd. I wish I was, because I'd be smarter and probably better. But I'm only gonna take it so far. Half my day is focused on the epic battle of Snickers versus Reese's. Only leaves 50% of the time, and I gotta do stuff with that. So, best light for a planted aquarium. In my opinion, it's the Phoenix Stingray or the Flu Ball 3.0. That covers most of that spectrum. It sounds like you're in the UK, so I'm not going to be sure what's available to you. There's a ton of high-end lights available in Europe, but the problem with them is they're high-end and they're expensive. That doesn't mean they're not good. They're great. But I always try to reference the price on how good something is. Because, like, you know, you might have the best candy bar in the world, but at $1 million a piece, I would hope so, right? Like, it better be the best. Can I do your CO2 question? Probably not. If you ask it again and I see it, yes. Otherwise, I'm going to spend 20 minutes digging for a CO2 question. And I don't see it now. So, I've got a 75-gallon community aquarium. My bed is missing. I checked the floor, checked the hang-on back. Is it possible the king tiger pleco or the corridoras could have completely killed and eaten him? I would say it's unlikely that they killed him. Could they have eaten him? Yes. The pleco definitely could have after he died. Stranger things happen. Maybe they went on a killing spree. Unlikely, though. More likely something has caused a death, and then it was consumed by the aquarium, or it was able to hop out and a dog or a cat ate it, or something like that. Like, there's a million things that could happen, and then you start going, well, what's actually like kind of logical? So yeah. 40 members to go, I'm told. Night crew lights, are they good? There's a wide spectrum of night crew lights. So some are pretty good. You know, at the beginning they were pretty power intensive, so they weren't that great. They didn't have great longevity, but I feel like they're getting better every year. And I have tested some night crew lights that are pretty decent, but I don't know which one I could recommend to you off the top of my head even. So read reviews, and I would say if other people are going, look at my plant tank, it looks great, and it doesn't use much power, then I would say, oh, okay, yeah, that one seems good. But yeah. But I do know there's a spectrum there, so don't assume like, oh, it's a night crew light. It's like, well, just like Phoenix lights, like some of them are really good, some are really bad. Ooh, I gotta go to Travis's house. He's cooking pulled pork tacos. Sounds delicious. I just saw the CO. What CO2 regulator do I recommend? At the moment, if I was to buy one off the shelf, I would buy one from Green Leaf Aquariums. They're crazy expensive, no doubt. They're also top of the line, so you get what you pay for there. I've used budget options, and I'm even using some budget options that I've tested off of like Amazon. So those are decent options too. If you're new to CO2, go with something you know is like tried and true and works really well, because it's like me. know almost nothing about cars. Like, I just never really got into it. I can't fix them. I don't know very much. So for me, it makes sense, buy a car that runs well. But if you're like a mechanic and you love cars and you've worked on them every day of your life, it makes sense for you to go, let me try this thing. I bet you I can buy it on the cheap and make it better. Whereas if I get into that car, it's nothing but problems for me. And with like CO2, I've run a lot of CO2 regulators. I run a lot of them right now between the warehouse, the store, my house. Well, not that many in my house. I don't think I'm running any. There's some in my house, like in my studio, but they're not running. But I've always, troubleshooting and got that kind of stuff. So if I get one that's a little like, woo, this one's real finicky, I can work with it. But if I had never worked with it before, you're going, I don't know, it seems like you can't adjust it. And it's like, well, it just has a terrible needle valve. Or you've got the pressure really high, which is going to make slight adjustments on that needle valve seem like they're huge. And there's operating pressures depending on what diffuser you're going to use. And all these little variants that could make you just want to pull your hair out. Whereas if you go with kind of a known brand, a known system, you're like, oh, I bought their regulator. I like their documentation. I bought their diffuser. And now I'm getting their results. And from there, then you could go, oh, well, let me try this thing. Let me try that thing. Let me learn about this. Let me learn about that. And then down the road, you're like, yes, I can take that $80 Amazon special instead of like the $250 regulator off Greenleaf Aquariums or something like that. All right. Devin N. finally became a member. My day is going quite well. I wish I was at Dean's filming, but, we can't always have what we want. And so we will hang out. That's what we will do with our spare time. Any plans to go see L.R. Brett's fish room again? Nothing concrete. I'm sure if I'm out that way, yes. At the moment, I'm not getting to do any travel, so there's that. But no, he's a good dude. So why would I go out there? Like, Jimmy's moving back here. That doesn't help. Probably a fish convention. I bet you there'll be one within driving distance. They'll be like, let's go to L.R. Brett's house. Yeah. What am I feeding the gobies? Is there any way you can target feed? Oh, talking to someone else. I was like, gobies? I'm not feeding any gobies. Ugh. I don't know Noah Trim's kid's name, but hello. You waved hi. My brain's trying to put it together. Is this the one that's the adorable kid that loves Murphy? Is that the same family and kid? If so, awesome. If not, I apologize. That's all I got for you, unfortunately. How do the quarantine meds affect the health of snails and shrimp? Do they help them too, or just the fish? The only med that I'm aware of that is beneficial to snails and shrimp would be the praziquantel, which happens to be in, do I have it sitting here? Not easily. That happens to be in the Paracleanse. Now, Paracleanse is metronidazole and praziquantel, but out of the whole trio and all the active ingredients in there, the only one that I know to be beneficial is the praziquantel. I don't know it to be detrimental, but that is the only benefit. So I wouldn't dose all 3 meds. I would only dose the one if I was going to. But I wouldn't necessarily take them out to avoid quarantine. Who made the background of the 800-gallon? That would be universalrocksucks.com. It's actually Universal Rocks. Their customer service is straight out of... I'm trying to think of something that's really known. I'm pretty sure the same customer service team operates for Comcast and Universal Rocks. That's the best passive burn I got. So some people are saying, I need an Aquarium Co-Op face mask. I've made the active decision to not try and profit off of something like COVID or face masks. Not that a ton of people don't need them and we don't want good ones and all of that. I just... I don't want it to seem like there's always going to be a portion of people that see that and look at them trying to take advantage of a situation. So instead, we actually bought something over 1,000 masks or something for our workers. And then we donated to hospitals and that kind of stuff. But we didn't. I think this is the first time I mentioned that. For all maybe I mentioned it before. Now I look like an idiot, but I try to, most of the philanthropy and just that kind of stuff, I try to downplay because I don't know. To me, there's two things. It's either you're doing something to do something right and nice, or you're doing something because it's advertising. And the minute I start talking about things I meant to do just to be nice, it becomes advertising. And to me, that takes away the pure intent I had. So the pure intent was bring in a ton of masks, make sure our employees are safe, and then give any excess to hospital workers. And that's what we did. Now that I've mentioned it, though, now it'll seem like some long con of like, yep, there it goes. He brought it up. Now he's getting that, kudo points. But the reason why we won't, well, I can't say we never would, but so far we've chosen not to, and I would be very unlikely to bring that product on, is because I don't want to profit off something like that. I'd rather, like, the Aquarium Co-op, to me, we're trying to be the outlet of that kind of stuff, of like, oh, the world's super stressful. Let me just watch my fish. Look at them. They're trying to breed. They're having fun. I get to zone in on my own little mini nature of something I can control. And, yeah, not that, if other brands want to do it, that's fine. I don't fault them for it. I just know that instead of me trying out 50 different masks and looking at print and embroidery and all of that, I'd rather work on the brine shrimp eggs we're working on and the other products we're working on, and not be vying for your face mask dollars. Did I ever go to the Nane River in Peru? We did, actually. We didn't go super deep into it, but the trip I wanted to go on this August was going to go a little more deep into it, but that seems like a for sure no-go. I am hoping to go next year. I'm really missing Peru, being in the water, really. Luckily I've been able to go back to the gym the last month or so, and I really enjoy getting stronger. I'm not really losing weight, but I'm getting stronger, which I like. And I'm excited to go back after working out to Peru and just make everything easier. I want to be the one that, go, like, I'm usually the first one in the water, last one out of the water. Like, I like being in the water. But, really start getting into some of that muddy stuff, because you're exhausted when you really start trekking through mud. And I think I'd go even further down the rabbit hole if I wasn't trying not to get a leg unstuck from mud that's 4 feet deep and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I want to go back. That's all I can say, really. How about Murphy material to make our own stuff? That'd be kind of cool. I could do some, like, raw material or some patches. I'm always allured by patches. Like, I'm in the club, I got the patch. Even though I've, like, never worn a patch in my life, somehow I just think it's cool. That guy's got a patch on his jacket or on their purse or whatever. Like, oh, I should wear patches. Those are so cool. I just never do, though. Do we broadcast live streams in the warehouse and let the employees watch? We don't specifically broadcast them. Not everyone's a fish person, but we do allow people to watch and listen. So usually they can have like one earbud in, and they can have like a phone kind of where they're maybe in their pocket, or maybe they're at a packing station to listen to stuff, maybe podcasts or anything like that. Kind of the mantra is, as long as it doesn't impede your work, I'm open to it. If it makes it so it's like, well, we're making errors, or, like maybe you shouldn't be eating spaghetti while you're trying to pack someone's stuff because it's staining it. Like, I definitely tend to side, if I can't really see it being detrimental, and you guys see that even with like Planaria, it's like, I'm not sure it's detrimental. And so I tend to side with employees like, well, I'm not sure it's holding you back. And for some people it does. And it's like, well, we got to make sure that's not sidetracking you too much. Like, you can't have people talking to their significant other. Like, that does distract them. They're answering questions, but just listening to something passive, can be helpful. So, what tetras do we find in the Nane River? I don't know. We had it documented. I'd have to look in the things and look at coordinates where we got stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, Jessica does work in our warehouse, and I don't know if she has a day off or she's actually at the warehouse right now, but yeah, she's requesting to eat spaghetti while packing. All right. I'm in zone 9 and 10. Is that bad? I'm in zone 9 and 10. Is that bad? Like zone 9 and 10 like for outdoor plants wise or like shipping wise? Zone 9 and 10. I'm zone 9 and 10. My brain trying to process. Can't keep up. Is Jimmy back yet? Nope. I think he gets here somewhere around like August 5th-ish, I think. Depends on they're taking like a little bit extra time to get here, so it's not unbearable to drive cross country. I think they're visiting a couple of people on the way, which makes sense. And I'm real excited for them to be here though, because there's a lot of things that I've been like putting off. Like, oh, it's just better if Jimmy can help me film. It's just better if this person can help me do this. And so that'll be nice to have that. Like it, Jimmy's a gem, Jimmy. No, it's definitely a great benefit to have around, and the grass is always greener. Of like, oh, he moved away. Like, man, that part got way harder. I forgot. I didn't appreciate how much work Jimmy was putting into that little aspect. Things like B-roll, which I know B-roll a lot of work, but it is so nice to have Jimmy go in after I've done the video and get the shot that we missed. That is so helpful. So it really does. It really makes a better video, and it really does help. So, have I seen anything about the new cell phone that has the mechanical gimbal built into the lens? Whew, I hadn't yet. Hopefully it comes to iPhone and all that stuff, because mechanical stabilization, love it. Yeah, but yes, cell phones are my weapon of choice in Peru. Because you basically live your life with a battery pack because you're off the grid, and you got to recharge the phones. You got to back it up to another phone and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely do like that. And they're waterproof as you get stuck in the mud. So, ooh, do we have a welcome back Jimmy party? Not yet. I'm sure though. Oh, I was gonna say, what can we do? And I was like, wait, nothing. COVID. We can't. I'm pretty sure I'm breaking the law just by talking about Jimmy with COVID. Because he probably wants to go get pho or pho. I wonder. That'd be interesting. I wonder what his like first meal back here will be. I'm going straight to. Don't know. I don't know what it'll be. Jimmy, if you don't know, Jimmy's kind of a foodie, so he's all about that food. Okie dokie. Oh, Unbox Therapy did a video on that camera. All right, I'll try and check it out. I thought the person that joined that said definitely not a noob was definitely not Bob. I don't know why, but I thought it was a little funny. Any tips on how to be more eco-friendly in the hobby? That's hard, because when I look at that stuff for our own business, almost everything you do, there's like a reactionary thing, and then you're almost like, is that worse or just as bad? Like, I don't know. I think one of the biggest impacts we could have, honestly, is changing less water. I strive to change less water. Because in my mind, at least, growing more plants would reduce the amount of water changes, which means I'm using up less fresh water, which is one of our most precious resources, right? Like, for as much fresh water as we need as a planet, we don't have that much. And so, even though when fish water leaves your aquarium, it comes out really clean also. But I think just in general, using up less of it, and the power to heat it, and maybe using less dechlorinator, which means a trucked in less, which means Aquarium Co-Op made less money. Oh no, I'm giving bad advice. But there's always this like domino effect, and so that's one thing I think I try to do is less water changes, rely more on plants, more stable system, less chemicals. That being said, if I need to do any of it, I'll do it in a heartbeat. I don't want my fish to go without, so to speak. But recyclable bags and all of that stuff seems like a no-brainer, and it is. But to have like, I find with any habit or anything you really want to make a change in, change something you're doing repetitively. So if you change water every week, change water every 2 weeks. You just became 50% more efficient, or less of a burden on a system, right? And so maybe that's your local water municipality. Maybe it's maybe you're in California and there's a drought or something going on, but target the things you do a lot of. So maybe if you feed your fish every day, maybe look at that. If you're changing water every week, look at that. Or maybe it's, I want to make a positive impact. I'm going to turn my lights on and I'll move the timer from 10 hours to 9 hours. 10%. Just got 10% efficiency in my life. We'll see how that goes for 6 months. Maybe I'll go to 8. And you can play with that and see where it takes you. Tips for taking care of filter feeders. I like to feed every day a little bit of the Hikari First Bites with filter feeders. Just get a pinch of it, get it in the water, and just do that, and it'll cloud up the water, and you'll just watch your filter feeders go to town. That's my tip. You could also do it with like just the powder of Repashy. You can do it with that also. So someone says heat your aquarium less. Yeah, that's something you'd be doing every day as well. That would make a positive impact also. And I say positive, like obviously if you let it get too cold and you gotta use medicines and all that kind of stuff, like sometimes it becomes neutral, but most of us have good intentions, and if we're successful, it ends up being a good thing. Sometimes you have good intentions, and when you're successful, it turns out to be a bad thing. Like, I didn't realize that was gonna be the outcome. So sometimes you gotta walk it back a little bit. Vote Burger King for Jimmy. Jimmy does like Burger King. That dude, he'd be like, "You want a Whopper? I'm going." And I'd be like, I do. It'll be fun to have Jimmy back. It's like having a sidekick. Because Jimmy's job is to work closely with me, whereas like I love hanging out with a lot of my employees, but for us to hang out means they don't get to do their job. And I don't get to do my job either. So if Robert and I hang out, I'm not getting any work done and he's not getting any work done. But if Jimmy and I hang out, we're both getting work done. So somehow it's like more efficient if we hang out. But that's my eternal struggle. If I work less, I can hang out more, and that's good. I do want that. By the way, if you're tuning in and you don't know why you can't chat, it's because we're doing a membership drive, and only the members can currently chat. It's a once in a maybe every 6 months we do this just to impress the YouTube gods. If you want to join in on that, it's going to cost you somewhere around $5, and I'll do what I can to answer your question. I do that every day. Whether you're a paying member or not, I do what I can to help as many people as I can every day make that choice between Reese's or Snickers. It's a lifelong quest I run. All right, let's tune in. Update is we need 32 members. 32 members is what we need, and we have 951 people watching. So it is technically doable. And my nose was itchy. Yes. Corey's Batman, Jimmy's Robin? Maybe. I don't know. Jimmy's got a lot of gadgets. I feel like I might be Robin there, because I don't even have... Wait. Does Batman get the shark belt? Yeah, Jimmy would definitely have like shark repellent on a belt. Will they ever do gift memberships? I hope so. I asked him for it this morning. And what they are allowing, something that's coming out August 3rd, it's going to be a 2-week trial. Some people will have the ability to buy memberships for like 3 or 6 months. You can go, hey, I'd like to prepay for 6 months. So they are going to trial that and see if people are interested in that. So if a bunch of people do it, they'll probably keep that option. If not, who knows what they'll do. But yeah, that's something that's coming, but it won't be till, I think it's August 3rd is when the experiment starts. And I don't know if everyone gets access to it or not. I know my channel will, but I don't know if every member will get access to that. And then it stops like 2 weeks later. They'll evaluate the data. If it went well, they'll offer it more. They do a lot of little experiments like that. Will autosynclus breed in a community tank? I think they'll breed, but you probably won't get any eggs or fry out of it. Like the eggs will get eaten, the fry might get eaten. Yeah. What do I think of the AI Prime freshwater light? I've never played with one in person, so I always put that caveat out there of, never played with one. In general, I don't like the pendant style lights because they seem to be very expensive to heat or to light larger aquariums. I think if they were free, I would love them. I think if I had to go, wait, how many for this 125 gallon? Like, okay, I think they're like $175 each. I don't know what the current price is. But if I needed 3 of those to light a 125, I'd be going, all right, well, that's like $600. I could do it with flue ball lights for $400. But yeah, I think they're probably pretty decent. I just haven't played with them myself. So maybe I don't even know who's manufacturing. Maybe they'll send me some. I don't know. Just got an unexpected bonus at work. Ran to the bank and then to the co-op store. Ooh, I love working at Edmonds. I miss being more in Edmonds. I don't get down there as often as I should, but I think I'll get down there more with Jimmy. Jimmy will drag me down there, kicking and screaming. Do I know of any good fish clubs in North Snohomish County? Well, there's a couple. There is like, I forget the name. Someone in the chat that's probably in it can tell you, but there is like kind of one located in northern Washington. I can't remember the name. And there's a Greater Seattle Aquarium Society. I think both of them are not currently actively meeting because of COVID, but maybe in the fall or early in spring or something like that, they'll probably be back on. So, but for any of you wondering if you have a local club, one of our newer employees, Lizzie, Jimmy's girlfriend, has been working on that, and we've been updating our list. And you can go on our website, and at the bottom in the footer, we have a list of local clubs. You could look at your state, look for a local club. If you're in a local club, maybe you go there and make sure that your club is on that list. The only requirement is that you meet and that you have like a page or something that's like a web page that's going to show when and where you meet so that I can link to it. And so when someone goes, oh my gosh, there's a club in Northern Washington, and they click on that page, it goes, oh, they meet the second Thursday of every month at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then they got the information to make an informed decision. All right. North Sound Aquarium Society is the one that I was speaking of earlier and couldn't remember the name of. So there you go. What fish are we going to put in the 800 gallon? Well, you will see part of that on Sunday and Ladybird. And I've got some other fish like Juraparis that are in quarantine, but I'm not 100% sure if they're going to make it into that aquarium. I'm enjoying them where they're at, but maybe. I'm taking it slow. That's real slow and steady, real slow and just enjoying it. It might sound crazy, but I actually enjoy it without fishing it right now. I'm just watching it going, ooh, yeah, crypts are starting to convert. Okay. To me, it's like watching a house plant. And, out of all the live things that I touch or see, I'm really impressed by my wife's plants that are by our sliding glass door. We brought back I think it's called a Planaria from Hawaii a couple years ago. That thing is going gangbusters. We watch every new leaf going, do you see the thing's got a new leaf? Crazy, right? Because we totally thought it wouldn't be warm enough or light enough back here in Washington. And so we're continually surprised to be like, it's doing well. And I get that same enjoyment out of here. So once I put fish in, my focus will go from the plants. I'll be like, oh, plants look okay. Yeah, okay. How's the fish doing, right? But I want to savor the fish, and I want to savor the plants, and I want to savor the escape, and this stuff is crazy costly, and I feel like it's a mistake if I don't try and enjoy it. There's a lot of YouTubers or just and probably me 10 years ago. I want to see it done. What's the end result? Like, I got to see it done. And now I realize that once you're done, that's the first day you start thinking about, well, what am I going to do next? And so right now, I can still daydream. I sit back and I go, what would look good over there? What fish? Ooh, would a elephant nose be cool in there? I wonder. Oh, man, what color fish are going to look really good swimming back here? That might be neat. And so that occupies my brain, and that is enjoyment right there. For me, building, thinking about the hobby, doing all that is almost as good as actually seeing it happen. So I really do enjoy that, and I don't want to rush through it. And so, yeah, there'll be a point where it's like fish are going in. I've hit the point where I want to go the next step. But for now, it's having fun. Do silver tip tetras need dither fish in order to school back and forth? Not really. They need a human to play with them. If you get enough of them with your hand, they'll move pretty good. I wish we had an aquarium club here in Miami. I've never heard of one. I don't know how close, because I don't know Florida like the back of my hand, but I know Wild Fish Tanks, Ryan, because I've been to his house and all that. I know he goes to aquarium clubs in Florida. Now, he lives in, is it Fort Lauderdale? No, Orlando. He's in Orlando. And so I think like Orlando to Miami is like 4 hours, something. I don't know the distance, but your local club might be 3 hours away. But if it meets on a Saturday, you leave at 9 a.m., you get there at noon, you hang out till 3, you drive home at 6 o'clock at night, you grab dinner. That's a good day, So I'm willing to drive for a club meetup when it's not a weekday, and a lot of them are on the weekend. So, and it's worth it. You get to go get cool fish, you get to hang out with fish nerds, and all of that fun stuff. So, yeah, I would look into it. Can silver tip tetras go with angelfish? Usually they can, I would say. Yeah. What should I stock my 30-gallon tank with? I have it pretty heavily planted. My water is very hard liquid rock. I'm trying to figure out bottom feeders mostly. Well, I'll answer this question if you presented me with that and said, if I had an aquarium right now as Corey, there was super hard water and was fully planted, I would get some Lake Tanganyika oil cats. Now, the internet just saw a spike in Lake Tanganyika oil cat, because a lot of people won't know that fish, but it's a little catfish that's kind of just black and doesn't do a whole lot, but it's kind of cool. They can be bred in aquariums. I haven't done it yet. Every time I ever tried to get them, I could get like 1.5. It's like, well, we got like 4 at the store. You show up and they got 2, and I don't even know. And then by the time you're going to catch, we can only find 1. And yeah, they're kind of just Lake Tanganyika oil catfish. Let's see if I can even find images on that thing. All the images I'm seeing are not what I know to be the Lake Tanganyika oil catfish. So there's probably some scientific name. You got to look it up on Planet Catfish, nerd out for a bit, find that thing, and then be like, that thing is pretty cool. Because right now I'm not seeing it. Well, that's what I would do. I would find that fish, I'd find the name of it, and I would keep that. Because it'd be fun, and I haven't done it in a long time. And I can only ever get 1.5 of them. All right. Fish for the top layer of the tank that wouldn't go to the bottom too often. Cold water with flow. I would say something like most of the Danios, zebra Danios. Get something fun though, like long fin blue leopard Danios. That's pretty fun. If you were crafting your own water from RODI, what products would you add to it? Seachem Equilibrium and Alkalinity Buffer. I would probably use Seachem Equilibrium and crushed coral and not do massive water changes. I really love buffering water with crushed coral in terms of the KH. It's a real natural way. I've always had really good results with it. I would use probably Seachem Equilibrium. Yeah. You could use Wonder Shells too, but if I always had to make up my water, I'd probably just use Equilibrium. Whereas if I'm just adding to water, I love Wonder Shells because just plop it in there, it'd be great. I have played around with the Perugier catfish, the wood cats, quite a bit. Those are fun. We found a few different types of wood cats in Peru. That was fun to see. They're real pain to collect though, because they're in the wood. Shocker, right? Wood cats in the wood. Who knew? Are we still doing curbside pickup, or can you go in the store? You can go in the store. Face mask is required. We have a sign on the door that says how many employees we have. We allow one party of up to 2 people. So it could be you and your significant other, you and a child, you and a friend, can enter both wearing masks per employee. So if we have 3 employees, there can be a max of 6 other people in the store. That would be a total of 9. Or it could just be 3 employees and 3 single people, any mix in thereof, just to keep it manageable. And we ask that you kind of be respectful of people's time and, respect distances and space and all of that. And just, because we very often have a line waiting outside. And so it's unfortunately the store, being that we have to have limited capacity, it's not one of those like, well, I'm going to take my kid there and we're going to visit the aquarium, the public aquarium for 4 hours. Like, well, how about you're in there for like 10, 15 minutes, give what you need, ask some questions, get the help you need, and we'll get you taken care of, and then we'll let the next customer in. And when it's back to, normal, great, come on in, pack a lunch. Well, don't literally pack a lunch. Don't also, don't pack and eat spaghetti at the same time either. But, come in, spend your time, and observe all the cool fish we have. But right now it's like, well, let's try to be, and even if there's no one in line, it's like even the employees don't want to just have to oh, I need to clean that aquarium, but I can't get close to them. I wonder if they're going to move. And so everyone's just trying to be respectful of each other. Does crushed coral have a shelf life in the aquarium where it stops working? Eventually it'll stop having easy things to dissolve. I find it's somewhere between 6 months and a year if it's sprinkled into the gravel. If it's in a hang-on back, that could be as short as a couple weeks or a month. So, yeah. We are sold out of 2 different sizes of Wonder Shell. There's a lot of companies like that, those smaller companies that when COVID hit, they're just not producing at all. So it's just when people are like, when are you going to get that back in stock? When they make more, I don't know what to tell you. We've been sold out of API test kits forever. API, apparently, when COVID hit and everything, API is we're just going to take a giant nap for a year and do nothing at all. At all. It's oh, you're not making medicines, you're not making test kits. What are you doing? Taking a nap, I guess. I don't know. Low pH affects the shelf life of crushed coral? Yeah. Yes. The more acidic the water is, the lower the KH is. Basically, the more that can dissolve in would be the less that would be easily dissolvable left over, right? So, yeah, that goes hand in hand. So a very hard water aquarium would dissolve very slowly. It would extend the shelf life. But then also it's we wouldn't really need the crushed coral as much. But yes. And wait a second here. My brain is now caught up to what I'm saying and gone all the way around and come back. All right? We're using RO water and then reconstituting it. I know myself. And for me, I would use some tap water. I wouldn't use Equilibrium. I would go, if my water's super hard and I need to bring it down, I would go, I'll use 1 gallon of hard water and 9 gallons of RO water, and I would mix it. Now, you might specifically have some crazy situation where you're I got 400 pounds of Reese's in my water, and that's not good for the fish or the plants. Okay. But if it's a hardness thing, which 99% of people are, that's how I would mix it. Where do you get this Yeti cooler? Well, first, you have to work at the Aquarium Co-Op. Second, you have to hire Randy Reed to be your director of operations. Third, you have to have a birthday that's about 6 months after you hire him and have him want to make an impression on you. And then he, out of his own hard-earned money, will get you an Aquarium Co-Op Yeti cooler with your nickname Corn Dog on it. That's right, it actually says Corn Dog. We are considering having some of these made for like some of our brand ambassadors at some point, but these things are legit like $35 or $40 to have them custom done. There's no discount. If I buy 100, how much do they cost? What'd the website say? Oh, okay, so same price. So we can't like buy them and resell them or anything. And but yeah, they do keep a drink super cold when I remember to use it. So yeah. Well, the course sponge pads be back in stock anytime soon. We hope to have them middle of August. Basically, production timelines got thrown off. And so they're supposed to be loading the cargo container onto a boat this week. Then it'll be a transit. It's got to clear customs. All those things got to happen. If everything goes super duper smooth, maybe a week sooner. If something hiccups, maybe longer. Like this, brine shrimp hatchers had to sit at the customs for like 10 days. No one's really got a good reason why. Just it is how it is. Okay. You know, so that's what makes it hard when we tell you, hey, don't worry, we got them. And then it's like, well, when are they coming? I wish. You know, there's a lot of brine shrimp hatchers sitting there that we would love to be selling. So, you know, we're at the mercy a lot of times when we're importing things. So we just, you know, and everyone's trying to do their job. There's things in the way. Stuff comes up. We just, it's here when it's here, unfortunately. And then we go, well, we'll try to get them in sooner. You know, I'll tell you one thing. We're going to try and avoid this whole COVID thing next year. It'll make ordering stuff and planning way easier. So now that I know that, I'm just going to go, no, we're not signing up for the COVID. No, thank you in 2021. We'd like to run business a lot easier. So, you know, I didn't know what I was getting into this year. Signed my name like, yeah, bring on the COVID. What do I care? Whew, it has made life really hard and business really hard and affected a lot of people. It's been horrible. You know, I think we're all in the same boat. Let's hope that it, I don't know what the right word is, passes, burns out, something happens where it's not the way it is right now. That's not the same. That's all I need to know. Not the same as it is right now. My phone is blowing up. I may be summoned in to help pick and pack at the warehouse tomorrow. I'm being asked if I can pull that off. I have to look at my schedule and see if I can fit that in. Have an employee who is under the weather, unfortunately, and you know, we got packages to get out, as you know. I live and die by that, so yeah. So who knows? Maybe I'll pack your order tomorrow. We'll see. All right. Yeah, and when we get products in, boom, they're gone. So that's a double-edged thing. Like, we've sold more Zis brine shrimp filters than they've sold ever. And so companies typically don't have, like, I've got a giant warehouse of a product that's selling really slowly. But then you guys, well, one, we do an insane amount of research before we decide to sell something. And because we've done all that research and we know what's good and what's bad about it, you guys typically trust us when we're like, this thing's awesome. Because it is awesome, because we tested it a bunch. So then we brought in, you know, like a pallet worth. This time I think we brought a couple pallets in. And they sell out relatively quick. And the factory's got to make more, but they've got lead times. And COVID's affecting that country and things like that. And so, yes, did we try to order more? Yes. But we're like, you know what? We'll take 2 pallets worth if that's what you can get us sooner. Hopefully you can get more to us before we run out. That would be great. But if not, you know what? We're all in this together. So, you know, and as I look at it, like, if we all got to wait to get a brine shrimp hatcher till next month, something to think about. I get to sit back going, ooh, this brine shrimp hatcher is going to be so cool. So that's where I'm at with my brine shrimp eggs. I want the brine shrimp eggs we've been testing. I cannot wait to share with you guys. I honestly think they are so good. You know, Dean wants more. I've been hatching every other day now because I'm afraid I'm going to run out. Like, I love them so much that I've been rationing myself so I don't have to go back to. I suppose now I can't even say the competitor's name because it'll probably be like, you're slandering them. But competitors' brine shrimp eggs. It's like going back to an inferior thing. Maybe it's not inferior. I don't know. I don't know what to say, but I have my preference. And my preference is love the hatch rate on these ones. Love them, whatever. So yeah, that's probably not going to happen until end of August, early September though. But, you know, it's new stuff that we're dealing with. So new members coming out the woodworks. North Aquatics, Riff Reaper, and David. Ooh. I can't even say it. Tidali? Yeah. Welcome. We're getting closer to our membership drive-a-thon. How many away are we now? Survey says 20. That is like a legit countdown number. 20? By the way, my face is getting redder because it's getting hotter in here. I'm going to turn on the AC. I apologize in advance for the audio quality changing. That'll hit me in about 4 minutes, and I'll gain my cool. I won't lose my cool. I'll gain my cool. What size pre-filter do I need for my Hang On Back Aquarium 50 filter? I'm on your site right now. I would wager a lot of money it's the medium sponge filter. I don't have one in front of me right now, but I got to imagine that's the one, because the big one's the big one. 39th wedding anniversary tomorrow. Now that is a feat. 39 years. I'm not even that old. You've been married longer than I've been alive. Well done. The pit check. I was going to say not so bad. No, it is. Yep. Oh, that's good. It's good. That's how you know you're putting in an Honest Days live stream. You're sweating it up. Yeah. Amy became not a new member, but a resubscribing member. Welcome back. And Flynn's Fish Forum with the $3. I love to advertise for Flynn. If you're in Vancouver and need your aquarium cleaned, I would trust it with no one else. I hope the borders open up. I so badly want to hire him to come down once a month and just play in my aquariums, because he's quite the wholesome young individual entrepreneur, and I want to see him thrive because he's got a heart of gold, and that means a lot. So I like to see a business that's, will do things that you're like, you just work for 10 hours for like no money. He's like, yeah, it's the right thing I got to do. Got to do it. I said I was going to do it, going to do it. That kind of business ethic, I really want to support. So I'm hoping, I think he got his license now. I don't know if he can, I don't know what age or what level of license from Canada you're allowed to like go into United States on your own, but hopefully you can come down once a month and we can pay him to do some stuff with my aquariums and just, hang out and do all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'll look forward to that. I'm treating a tank with Fritz Paracleanse. I'm curious if it can give false nitrite readings on Tetra test strips. I use APL liquid and it reads 0. I haven't run that specific test. I don't know that answer. Trying to think if I have a situation where I will likely test that. Probably not. If someone else can confirm or deny that, that becomes quasi-science. 2 people out of 4 million? That's got to be a fact. But I could see it. Like Prime will give false ammonia readings, and other dechlorinator will do that too. So not just Prime, but Prime is a well-known one. Any Canadian need a membership? I can PayPal you the $5. Oh, are memberships not allowed in Canada or something? I never know. Do I know any good fish stores in the Atlanta area? I don't think I've ever been there except for the airport. I've been to that airport like a billion times, but I don't know that I've actually been around there. I don't have any insight for you. Oh, Flynn, my wife's telling me Flynn has his permit, not his license yet. I don't know, those young kids and their newfangled gadgets, I don't know how things work. Oh, see? I think it's the G2 license, which is a second of 3 license levels. Blame me. I don't know the 3 license levels of another country I don't live in. Well, hopefully one of those will get Flynn here eventually. Did YouTube give you a reason why they haven't rolled out gifted memberships? No. They almost never do they give reasons why they do or don't do things. They only want to collect information. Like, how do you feel about this thing? Do you think it would help? What are your thoughts? And then they probably take it to their team of 4 billion people and just, you know, grind that information down and make decisions. So, yeah. And so I'll follow up and say they're obviously trying to compete with Twitch, and that seems like a pretty big feature disparity. So that might be exactly the problem. Maybe they're not trying to compete with Twitch. Maybe they want to be something different, or maybe they want to do it better. And the fastest way to become the same thing is to copy what they're doing. So maybe I have non-disclosure agreements, so I can't talk about some of the other stuff they're doing, but they are doing some things that are different. So, you know, maybe they're going, well, how are we different? Or maybe they know, like, well, we could turn that on any time if we need to or want to. I don't know. One thing that the ACO store site is missing, showing items that pair with the product or item that you're looking at. Example, the hatchery could also show links to the other items one would need. We used to have recommended products and all that. We ran extensive testing and it lost us money. That's why we don't have it. We ran different algorithms and all that kind of stuff. We recorded sessions. We watched how people used it, and it was information overload. Was basically the diagnosis of. We would show you the next product, the next product, the next product, and by the time you get through that, it was you didn't finish purchasing. And a lot of what people do is they actually watch a video and then buy all the things they see in the video, or they read the blog article, in which case all the products that are shown in the blog article are in a collection at the bottom for you to buy all of them if you'd like. But we definitely spend lots of time and money analyzing all of that stuff, and if the data shows that people are really utilizing it, for sure, let's do that. If it shows that people are either not buying or not utilizing something, we get rid of it. And this is, you know, like right now, let's see how many people have been to the website today. Like, we get lots of data pretty quick. Let me see. Oh, it's on my main screen, I think. Today we've had, so far today, you know, it's 4:42 in the afternoon. We've had 11,721 people visit, and we have 128 people live viewing right now. So when we monitor what people are doing, in a day or two, we have 30,000 people looking and looking at products, reading stuff, doing stuff, and we can see the way in which they use the website. One thing you might notice that's new as of this week, there's a lot more YouTube videos about products on there, and we're going to see how people interact with that. Do you prefer learning via video? You also might see that there's some new options to see more of the customer review pictures, so you can see what does it look like in people's actual home aquariums. And so yes, we have run through those metrics, and we will, continue to do that. So maybe include it in the product description instead of the other things they might need. We've done that as well. So with the brine shrimp hatcher, do you include the USB nano air pump, the Aquatop AP50, the Aquatop 100, the linear air piston pump? Do you include the air valve, the airline tubing, the check valve? Do you include the salt, the brine shrimp eggs? What about when we start offering like the brine shrimp sieves, and then you start offering, let's say, like the turkey baster that doesn't drip to feed it out? And that's just one product. And so now what happens is usually you have people researching every one of those things, trying to make a decision, and then someone's like, dinner's ready, and they walk off and they buy nothing. So you're caught in this. How do you provide information in a quick, digestible way where people can make an informed decision and get the things they need while still completing a transaction, and not get the buyer caught up in paralysis of like, there's so many choices, I don't know what to do. And then you get people that like, just tell me what to buy. And, you know, so we do a lot of testing, and rest assured, I will look at that 40 more times in the next week, the next year, all the time. We're going, how can we further make it easier? Trust me, we have a lot of people working on what is the best way to make it easy for you guys to buy from us, because that's what keeps us alive, right? So we work towards that actively. And if something seems counterintuitive, know that we're probably using data going, well, let's try doing it this way. Let's try doing it that way. And maybe we get to the end of 3-month trial and we go, you know what? This is the best way. But you also see other features like you have the save for later. You have wish lists now. You have, if you log into your account, you have the ability to reorder. When you're on the cart page, you have things that will show up that say order it again because you've already had it. It'll also show you what you saved for later that you didn't buy last time. So we are definitely playing around with ways to make it. What I don't want is I don't want it to be like just buy more crap that you don't need. I want to make sure that it is stuff you're actually interested in, stuff that is hyper relevant, and all of that. And so it's a different way of I guess marketing or doing whatever we do, but I want it so that you guys come to us and, you know, we respect your information, we respect your privacy, we're not retargeting you, we're not just going, everyone should buy a $200 light or anything like that. Like we think you come to our physical store or a retail store with a purpose, and that's probably to buy something. Let's help you buy what you intended to buy and not sell you things that you maybe don't need or don't want or that kind of stuff. So, but yes, and there's a bunch of different types of buyers. So there's someone that goes, I need all the information. The next person goes, I don't want any information. And we're trying to thread the needle between all the different buying styles. Yeah, exactly. Tanya says, I get overwhelmed when there's too much choice. Just tell me what to buy. That's a different buyer profile right there. And so we have to figure out, how do we accommodate everyone's needs? Someone wants a lot, someone wants just this much, someone wants none, someone wants a personal. We had someone in the aquarium group support say they're so disappointed that we won't sit on the phone and personally make selections with them. We can't scale that. But that doesn't mean that's not the way they want to shop. And there might be a competitor out there that will do that with them, and that'll work out great. They'll call in, they'll spend an hour on the phone, they'll spend their $50. It'll be a great transaction, and they'll be, perfect pair, customer and seller. It'll work out good. Updates on pink flamingo crypts. We ordered them the past few weeks. None have come in. We don't really get much more than we're growing them. That's what we get. Like, okay. Does Stone really make the water that much harder? Not in my experience. Maybe in very nano tanks where you're not changing much water, maybe. But I haven't seen huge shifts in any of the aquariums I've ever done. You talked about becoming I'm guessing eco-conscious. Did you consider rainwater for softening the hard water? Also some hydroponics or aquaponics for cleaning up the nitrates? I mean, you could do that. I mean, I have soft water. I don't have that problem. But yes, yep. I mean, if you guys have been around the channel a long time, you know I built a solar hot air collector to heat the fish room at one point. And it worked, but it wasn't as controlled as I wanted. I needed to do like a 2.0, a 3.0, that type of stuff. But I'm very intrigued by that kind of stuff because it's fun to do. And at the end of it, you're like, I saved money and I saved the environment. What's not to love? Can I recommend a canister filter brand? If I had to pick one, I would say it's hard to go wrong with Fluval canister filters. I really love the FX series, the 407, the 307, all that. It's a pretty decent series too. I think they relatively are priced correctly. They're reliable. Parts are easy to get. Everyone's gonna have their own preference. But if I needed a canister filter tomorrow for a tank, legitimate, I would go buy one of Fluval's brands. And of all the canister filters I run, which I think I'm only running currently 2, yes, they're both Fluval branded. And I've gotten rid of Eheims. I've gotten rid of other ones I've had because I love the simplicity and the way those ones work. Now that just might mesh with my my style, but that's what I like. Cascades are amazing. Cascades are they're a fairly cheap one. They're not bad. I find that the plastic cracks and parts aren't easy to get, and their impellers break more often. They're not bad, though. Flue ball being hard to prime. Cascades are hard to prime after a while, too. In general, for me personally, with my canister filters, I only ever prime a canister filter once. After that, when you close the valves, they hold the water, and if you fill up the canister filter like you're supposed to after you're done cleaning it, there's no priming to be done. It just, you let the water flow back through and it'll pump out the air. So for me, it's like, well, when I buy a brand new filter, I prime it once, and then 10 years later, I still won't have had to reprime it. Now, there could be some crazy scenario where one time I did, but I'm always scratching my head when I'm like, huh, like, you're priming it every time? What are you doing? That's weird. Like, that's just not like me at all. Oh, I didn't know that. The good thing about Cascade filters, they're made in New York, not far from where I live. I didn't know they were made there. Interesting. See, like, I would say instantly, if that's true for you, Cascade filter seems awesome because, oh, the factory's down the street. They should be in every local pet store. You should be able to get parts. It should be really easy for you. I would use that to your advantage for sure. Ooh, Steph's been a member for a year. Well, thank you. And new members from Wendy White and Goalie Scum. All right. There's a story behind that name, I guarantee it. Logan says, I just realized you had a podcast. You better believe it. Not only do we have these that go on the podcast, we also have the Aquarius podcast feed into there for all of your fish podcasting needs, as long as you only need about 2 hours a week worth of podcasting from fish stuff. We got you covered. Do we have a member count? Counting the members. We are at 1,487. We need 13 more. 13 more. That is a real doable, tangible number. Yes. I lost my chat, though. I've had my FX6 for about 5 years now and never have to prime it, and it's all the original parts. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the FX6s and 4s are really good at self-priming. So there is that. But even the 406, the 407, the 307, all that, I find that I only have to prime them once, and they work pretty good for me. And maybe it's my style. I don't know what it is. I just really like them. Uh-oh, we're going to start the war, the internet war. So many people have canister filters, don't actually need them. Were you guys around when I did that video of, like, canister filters are stupid and dumb, basically? And everyone was just like, Corey's a moron. They couldn't accept the fact that I could say most people don't need one. They couldn't get past that fact. Instead, they're just like, this guy that hates canister filters, what an idiot. He owns a fish store. He sells canister filters. He says they're bad, what a moron. It's like, all right, you could take a conversation in totality and analyze it and make a decision there. But, you know, sometimes it's not the world we live in anymore. Due to a heater failure, my clown killies didn't make it. That's a bum deal. Any tips on a fairly easy fish to breed in a 20 tall? I'm just looking for a fresh start. Had luck with the killies, but looking for a change. How about some longfin white clouds? It probably sounds like a little boring, but man, longfin white clouds are beautiful, like real beautiful. And they're pretty easy to breed. And so I find that to be real enjoyable. You know, they don't even have to be heated, so you're not going to worry about that heater mess. Like, I don't even run a heater, it's fine. Be low maintenance, they'll eat anything, why not? Do I swap out media in the canister filters? Not really. I run the pads they come with. I'll run the bio rings they come with. And then I don't run carbon or a fine filter pad. I don't do that either. So I'll pretty much fill it up with either more sponges or more bio rings. And then I put a sponge on the intake. Outside of that, I don't do a whole lot. I want my canister filters, so I set them up. 10 years later, they're using the same media. I just rinse. That's all I do. I put jungle valve pieces in an overhead sump to see if allelopathy will reduce duckweed. What do I think? I mean, I don't know if they're specifically launched the chemical warfare on duckweed, but I think if they did release that chemical against duckweed, you'd see it in that concept. I think that's a cool experiment to be doing, because like if it worked and you could replicate it on multiple tanks, you would have been the guy that figured that out. And I think that's useful for a lot of people. If it doesn't work, you'll get discouraged and won't do that again, and it'll be like, oh, we'll never get to the bottom of it. But I love to see people experimenting. Scott Mullen becoming the member right along with Tom Hamilton and Amaya Nut and Because Beth. Wait, Amaya Nut twice? How'd that happen? Wait, oh, my thing was screwed up. That's how. Tiffany Dilly and Scott McGavin. Wait, Shooter McGavin. Nice. Shooter McGavin. Ooh, we got 1,000 viewers? Not so bad. Not so bad at all. Not bad. I've been contemplating testing out a canister filter. I think everyone should play with a canister filter at some time. Because you will always be like, is this the best thing ever? You don't know until you try it. It's just an expensive thing to try, unfortunately. You might have instant buyer's regret. So, it's hard to know. Whoa. There's a lot of Amaya going on in the chat. I'm probably saying that horribly wrong, so I probably just am an idiot. I hate that. Endlers do well with no heater. What goes well with them if you use no heater? For the most part, I find they do pretty well without heat. What can you put with them? Reticulated hillstream loaches, maybe some salt and pepper corydoras. Snails, shrimp, probably some other things. Well, not probably. There is other things I just can't think of off the top of my head. Oh, Noah dropping the bombs. Hey, you non-members, go become a member. Woo. Woo. Amaya? Oh, so I'm correct and everyone else is wrong. Yes, nothing like knowing the rest of the world's wrong and I'm right at pronouncing a name that I completely guessed on. Yes. Takes skill to guess like that. Some people think guessing's chance. Oh no, it's all calculated risk. All right. Oh, now I'm so up in my brain. I'm like, wait, Amaya? Oh no, what? I don't remember what the right one is. But as a 2-membership family, double dipping, smart and effective. Someone else, a couple other people said that too. Like it was both like girlfriend and boyfriend. Like both people were members, and I thought that was super cool. And their statement was something to the effect of like, we get way more than the $10 of enjoyment out of it, and I appreciate that. And I don't want it to sound like everyone should sign up to grandma and their dog and their cat and their their Oscar to become a member. But I'm glad to hear that some people feel it's worth even more than just the $5. So that's a humbling feeling and a good feeling to have when it's like, all right, people are really enjoying this. That's nice. Amaya. Yeah, okay. Amaya? Oh no. See, now my wife is pronouncing it one way, and the person that has a name, Amia. Sounds like my brain is MIA, I'll tell you that. That's the joke. All right. Any tips on setting up CO2 with an established aquarium already that has a Fluwell 3.0 and wants to take plant growth to the next level? I would say bring on a very, very slight amount of CO2. Like whatever the lowest is, like a notch below that, give it like a week, then give it a tiny bit more until you're getting that growth. Because a little dab will do you. Ah, here we go. Amaya. That's how it's done. Boom. Amaya. I hope my brain is cementing that in so I don't have this problem every time I try to say it. Cynthia Bates and Sachi B. Is it? Yeah, Sachi? I don't know. I don't know. If you read 100 names, you can never pronounce them right. I don't even try. Interesting. Am I a nut? I get it. I get it. My wife beats me in trying to guess personalized license plates too. I'm not good at it. Not built for those kinds of games. Geo Aquatics subbing up. Welcome. Oh, and we're bringing... Oh, DeFreeze. Yes, Rob. Is it Rob? No. Rob. Yeah, it's Rob. I want to say Robert, but I'm like, no, it's Rob. I think it's Rob DeFreeze. I think that's his name. I could be wrong. I think it is. Because I think it used to... His screen name just used to be Rob DeFreeze, and then he became DeFreeze Aquariums. I think. It's hard to remember over years of like things happening. Like I think that was how that evolved. Is there a way to buy a wild-caught German blue rams? Yes, we'll see them show up on the list sometimes. They're kind of just like a little bit more muted color ram. Not by a lot though, but you can still get some wild genes available, yeah. Emily W. hitting it up along with Christopher Smith. That's got to be getting close. Let me hit that refresh button. $14.99. Who's going to be that lucky 1,500? That's the real question. I was member number 1,500, they say. That's how you win at life. You go into a job interview and like, you know, I didn't want to put it down on the resume, but I was Aquarium Co-op's 1,500 member. I mean, I know in some circles that takes you straight to the top. We've got a winner. It's William Marquez. Well done. That was a good choice. Oh, he was Racing's Natural Aquariums. Ah, that's who he was before. My bad. We did it. We did it. Now, if you're watching this after the fact, you could still become a member. It's not a cap. You can go above this, by the way. So, if you're listening at home right now and you want to become a member, you still can. And by the way, if you are a member, because we have a lot of new members today, make sure where you're going to see most of the member content show up, which is pictures and doodads and things, is going to be on the community page. You'll see member-only posts. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see like our super secret forum that as a member you get to test out and help us make better. And then sometime in the future, weeks, days, whatever it is, we'll open it up to everyone on the internet, and you can be one of the founding members and help us police. I don't want to say police because we're not the fish police, but help keep everyone in check to not go cray-cray on the forums. Any advice on how to tell when my female guppy is going to give birth? She is pregnant and chasing the male around right now. Usually on a guppy, they'll have a nice round belly. A couple of days before they give birth, it usually gets a little more square. And if you haven't seen it before, it's hard to see because it's not like, oh man, that's a legit square. It's just like a more boxy shape because it's running out of room with those babies. They're getting big. So, Jason Wasco with a $5 sticker. Weird tank mate ideas for a Cardinia 10-gallon tank. How about... What would I try? I'm trying to think of something that's actually got a chance of working. Too many crazy ideas are coming up. I'm like, I don't know, that just might kill a shrimp. his or her, I guess. I didn't see if it was male or female, but there's got to be something. I was thinking horse-faced loach, but they might actually eat the shrimp, but it'd be cool. What's got just like a crazy mouth on it that can't eat them? I don't know. Maybe horse-faced loaches. It's a crazy day. Would the Severum destroy my plants or do well in a 75-gallon? They're okay with like Anubias and Java ferns a lot of times, but leafier plants or not as robust plants, they usually go to Chowtown on. But I definitely have seen people pull it off. Passive CO2 hurt pH fast? Shouldn't. I mean, in general, I never run enough CO2 to really fluctuate pH, but that's, I mean, I don't know. Most people, they buy a sports car and then drive it way too fast, whereas I'm a guy that buys a sports car and rarely ever makes it go fast. CO2 is the same thing. Like, I want some CO2 in there so it never runs out. I don't need to have a bunch of CO2 because the goal is, what people don't realize, it's not that plants need a very high level of CO2. They just need to never run out, right? So, you know, people put insane amounts of CO2, but if it's only using this much, you only need to put in slightly more than that, and the plants would never run out. So the goal is to put in the least amount of CO2 so that your plants would never run out of CO2. So, yeah. Joel Rosenberg with the $10, not super chat, but sticker. Audrey says, I can't stop shopping until I get the free shipping. That's by design, my friend. It also is the sweet spot. So it's not only like, do we want your like $100? Like, we do want your $100, but it is also the sweet spot to condense things into packaging and shipping. And when we analyzed, I want to say now, we've done something crazy. Let me look at the number. Let me see. We have now shipped, we have data from shipping 230,476 orders. So with all that data, we crunch it down and we go, where is it a good spot to be shipping wise, stuff fitting in? And yeah, you could order like all the things that never fit together, but in general, that $100 mark is really where it's like, wow, this is one of the best ways to do it from an environmental standpoint. And I do care about that. I actively look at how can we reduce the amount of people that just buy one thing. It's like, oh, that's so bad for the environment. I mean, I realize you forget a thing, you got to have it. Like, everyone's got that. But then there's customers that habitually just order like one item like every 4 days. It's like, whoa, we really got to find a way to like curb that behavior a little bit, just for the environment's sake, just for, you know, we would make more money too. Like, that's good for us. Like, put 4 items in a box, costs the same as shipping it once. But if you ship it 4 times, I got to pay shipping 4 times, and we always lose money on shipping. So it's true, we're not allowing any super chats because there's like, it's not a bug, but if you allow super chats, people that aren't members can send super chats. And the one time we did this like 6 or 8 months ago, there was so many super chats, I didn't spend time talking with the members. And this was like supposed to be more about the members today, because almost always it's about everyone, right? So I just wanted to do a thing and impress the old YouTube gods, if you will. Yes. I felt bad when my $100 order came in 2 boxes. It's hard. I will say I've got the developers working on a system, and the first step will help guide people towards getting items into a box for efficient shipping. We're starting with plants. And from there, over the next couple of years, probably, we'll be being able to give suggestions of like, you have enough space to fit this Yeti mug or this Snickers bar. Would you like to put either of those in there? Or you're about to order this camera. That's going to start a new box. Do you want to do that? And So that way you can make an informed decision. Because you might be like, yes, I need that Yeti cooler and a camera, and I'm taking 2 boxes. But then when you go to the second box, like, well, you put a camera in this one. Would you like to put that Snickers in now too? Well, yes, I would. And so we're working on that just to environmentally, it helps a little bit. And monetarily, I think it'll help a little bit because you guys will probably be like, yeah, I should buy that candy bar or what, you know, obviously we don't sell candy bars, but whatever that item would be. So, all right. Integrity Farms joined up. Welcome. Welcome, my friend. I'm getting hungry for dinner. It's 5:09 and my messages are stacking up. One of them which says, you forgot the finger guns for Shooter McGavin. My wife only brings the most important things to my attention, such as finger guns for Shooter McGavin. I'm heading up 3 hours from Wenatchee to your store. Do you guys have any discs in stock? I don't know. Wait, we might, because I think Randy just brought discus to the store like this week. The best thing you could do, well, yeah, if you're on the way there now, I'm not sure we would respond to you in time. But in the future, you could email store@aquariumcoop.com, and then Robert or someone in the store will get back to you in a timely-ish manner, usually like a day or something, because they got to get away from a customer, look at the email, then go make sure we have the fish, and then they can say, hey, we got 4. That doesn't mean we'll still have them in 2 days, though, or whatever. But real-time store stock is really hard for us to have because we sell a lot of stuff, and it moves, and it's unpredictable. We've had times where it's like, yeah, we have 200 cardinal tetras, and then you get there 6 hours later, and it's like, you don't have any cardinal tetras. Like, yeah, we sold all the tetras. But I just called. Like, well, no, you called 6 hours ago. We sell that many tetras. And then they get all angry. So we try really hard to not, or at least give reasonable things like, hey, we'll hold them. We'll take a credit card over the phone. But there's too many people like, yeah, hold them all. Those aren't the ones I like. Never mind. It's like, but 2 other people would have bought them. Like, we can't be doing that. Come on. I want a candy bar too, Cynthia. Candy bars are delicious. Oh, good. I got back to it in a timely manner. Candy asked Robert. That won't always happen because sometimes people are busy and all that. We will always make a good faith effort to solve whatever your question is in the most reasonable amount of time possible. Sometimes it's not possible though. I like the way you buy against the flow. Once you hit that free shipping, there's nothing holding you back. Keep on adding to the cart. That's right. That's right. Yeah, we don't hold fish. It's got to be a real, like, full-on prepay over the phone, which we don't even do the phone anymore because it rings nonstop. So you're right, we probably just don't do it anymore. Yeah, it's... I wish we could have a phone that worked, but, all of the world gets a hold of that phone number and just calls. It'll ring nonstop. And when you're trying to talk to someone, the phone just keeps getting interrupted nonstop. So when you're talking to someone, they're like, what'd you say? And I'm like, sorry, there's literally like 30 people trying to call right now, and it's interrupting, letting us know we have more calls coming through. Even with, we have software that tries to, put people on hold and all of that, and then people start recalling and blah, blah, blah. So it's, sometimes you get stifled by your own success, unfortunately. So there's that. All right. Dorcula keeps me on top of my priorities. Oh, yes, she does. All right. It's a cool project. It's super difficult with the wide array of products you sell. Dan's Fish does that for his fish. Yeah. It definitely, because we have, the other elements we have is like, during the summer, if it's really hot, we need to use a liner for your plants. During the winter, we need to use a liner and possibly a heat pack. So the size of the package changes too. It's not just like this iPhone. It's always the same size every time you ship it. If sometimes it's got to go in a different box and do different things, we have to make that kind of change through the seasons. And then it's like, oh, this thing changes, but this one doesn't change. That becomes a different thing we have to navigate. And, we've got pretty good developers, and they're working on it. We're testing things, and we run trials and all of that. So, yeah, I hope we get to roll that out in a meaningful way. That's That's the important part, the meaningful way, because you can make a thing do anything. Like, yeah, it kind of works sometimes, or you can go, wow, that really moved the needle, and I'm hoping for that. If you're breeding bristlenose plecos, how long after the babies are born can you rehome them? I just got a breeding pair. Some people try to do it in like a week or two. I honestly think they're like a month old at least, like enough that I can catch them with a net and I'm not afraid of squishing them. That's the problem I have. You need a robot to answer your phone? We have robots that say like, we're super busy, a bunch of people are calling in, please wait. Average wait time's 10 years. So, yeah. All right. I was answering Dean. Dean sent me a message. Had to answer. Not a question, but a random tip. Phoenix Stingray 2.0 is great for terrestrial plants in a vivarium. Will give you green water in a 5-gallon aquarium. I would think so, yes. Very high light for a 5-gallon. The volcanoes in the back are made from what material? Can you put decorations handmade from clay in an aquarium? Some clays, yes. There's a lot of different clays. I'm not a guy that knows a lot of clays, but some you can. Some like harden just with air. Some you got to fire, all that kind of stuff. You could probably look that up. These are made out of, I believe, rubber and resin? I don't know. But they're not meant to be volcanoes. They're meant to be cypress knee stumps. And I just put air in them because I thought it looked cool. And it does look cool. So, you know, that's what I want to do. Oh, that's the best comment of the day. James Croney says, they're made of universal nonsense. Zinger. I like that. I'm going to steal that, and I'm going to try to use that as many times as I can, because that is the nice, subtle, passive burn that I would like to deploy on them throughout the years. Made out of universal nonsense. Because I don't think they're trying to be malicious. I don't think they're trying to, like, kind of suck at the way they do business. I just think you're right, it's nonsense. It's just like, this is just, if you just did like a little bit better, you guys would be like amazing, and I could really highly recommend. Instead, it's like you've devised a system to like get worse somehow. It's like, how could this be worse than the last one? Yeah. And it's different people too. It's not even like, oh, this guy remembers me and he's pissed. Like, it's just some random other person that does this kind of stuff. So, am I hearing people? I might just be here.
Something for you. You call her.
Tinky. Tinky.
Take the treat bag.
Tinky, come get treats. Oh, you shook out the candy bar. Oh. Tinky made a lumberjack delivery, and she had in this little pocket back here that shook out. She had a Snickers. Oh, now that's the best way to get a Snickers, isn't it, Tinky? With the lumberjack costume. You don't want to know how many like $5 to $7 Chihuahua dog costumes we own, because it's far more than the average person would expect. But some of these costumes make you laugh so hard that it hurts for a long time. And the fact that you can buy that kind of enjoyment for $5 to $7 should be illegal, because then you have to store costumes that can be used for timely deliveries. We gotta trade treat for treat, don't we? Huh? All right. You hold on. You gotta stay here. Oh. Then you can go back to mom. Oh. Now Wincy heard the treat bag too. So, don't bite my hand off on camera. Hey, easy. There's that for you, and there's that for Wincy. That's all. I know. Normally you get more treats, but we're on the big TV now. Normally they watch on the big TV in the living room so they can hear Dad's voice. But we're gonna send you on your merry way. Uh-oh, Wincy's honking now. She's too excited. That's all. That's all you get. You gotta go see Mom.
Let's get treats.
Come on.
Dinner.
That was an even exchange. This is a Snickers candy bar. That's not good for dogs.
Let's go
Chihuahua costumes are the best cheap thing ever. I don't let people shame me. I laugh so hard too often at those things. Like Wincy, we have a lobster costume, and like the lobster claws kind of like scare and make her look extra derpy. It'll make you laugh till it hurts every time. Yeah, that was a lumberjack outfit. I mean, no one starts the day going, I wish my dog looked like a lumberjack. You happen to run into that at a pet store and you're like, this thing's discounted. Who doesn't need a $2 lumberjack outfit? By the way, each membership goes towards buying dog costumes. It's kind of a problem. By the way, Snickers, not the best thing to try and talk and eat at the same time. We don't have a Baby Yoda. Typically, we only buy like dog costumes like after Halloween when they're like crazy cheap, because ain't nobody need a $40 dog costume. When you wait till like what, November 2nd, you're like they're $2 now, and buy 2 get 9 free because they're dog costumes. Yeah, we have these treats here. Every time the girls come out to see Dad, they get a treat because they love it. Because Wincy used to be super scared of being in the fish room, so we're training her that it's not scary out here, it's treat town. An axolotl costume? I haven't seen it, but you're right, I need one. So we hit 1,500 members. What's the next milestone? I don't know. I mean, obviously, like 2,000. That's got to send a number to YouTube. Like that's legit. 1,500 is legit too, though. So I don't just want to like string you guys along, and be like, we're trying for 1514 today. You know, like I don't want. Oh, here's the next milestone. I just thought, and I was like, dang, it's been doing pretty good. And I thought, 1,500. That's like another level that when a YouTube person reads it, like 1,500, that's no joke. I mean, in my mind, if I was reading a report in 1622 versus 1,500, that's all the same. But maybe 1,750 or 2,000, you're going, dang, this guy's doing well. We should talk to this guy. We should offer him more features. Yeah, puffer costume. Trust me. I'm buying all the puffer costumes the minute they go on sale at like PetSmart, Petco, or anywhere. I don't know how many places I actually travel that have dog costumes, but for sure I always got to look at them. Costumes for Great Danes. I'm pretty sure you just buy costumes for like 4-year-olds. That's what I would be doing. Yeah. I mean, Great Danes get big enough. Yeah, I would just be buying kids' costumes at that point. Ever live stream with Dean? I have in the past, and we intend to. And in fact, if you're a member and you went on the forum, you'll see that I got a new couch to facilitate such a live stream with Dean, but we just haven't done it yet because couch finally showed up. So it's on the to-doozy list, but, you know, all in good time. Yeah, we'll be getting more Dean. You know, we're working on it. Dean's just got a lot going on. Dean's always got a lot going on. When you're as cool as Dean is, everyone wants time with Dean. That's all I'm saying. What was that, a history lesson? I'm trying to think. Which part? If I don't know, the answer is yes. A good seamstress could make them a puffer costume? For sure. I definitely want... So, I've strongly considered why dog clothes aren't better and there's not more custom dog clothing. Because, like, Sassy, wet, weighs about 4.2 pounds, right? And, like, nothing fits her well. You can buy all the teacup sweaters in the world and you're rarely going to find one that fits well. There needs to be like there's a billion dog groomers, right? Why isn't there like in every city they're like, that's the person that makes dog clothes. You bring it in, they measure, you put that thing on in their presence, they go, oh, that doesn't fit right there. Come back in a week, I'll have it made differently, and it'll be a perfect fit for your dog. Because at 4.2 pounds, what she's at, if we open a can of dog food and we don't use it all because she's small, and it sits in the fridge, if she eats that food without warming it up, she will shiver because it lowers her body temperature. So we have to microwave the food to get it warm enough. So that's how on the line a 4.2 pound dog can get pretty cold pretty quick, and a sweater or a little shirt becomes a major thing, and something you need to wear every day. You want to be able to wash it and do these things and keep it sanitary. It's an important part, you know. I would definitely have a few. I don't know what they cost, $25 dog sweaters or something that were custom made. I'd buy 4 at a time. I'll give you $100. It's only going to use this much cloth, right? I'm saying this not as a seamstress or someone who can sew, and they're going, how dare you? You know how much work that takes? I'm sure it takes a lot. I don't know what the cost is. I'm just saying I'm probably a willing participant because animals, like, they're literally our daughters, these dogs. So if you would clothe your children, I would clothe my dogs, and it takes what it takes to get them. So, yeah. Sassy stays small to avoid costume indignity. You would think that would protect her, but she just walks out of it pretty quickly on the bed. Like, dang it was hilarious till she walked out of it. Oh, man. Dean doesn't pay for dinner in Washington. That's right. Take Dean out. Well, we used to take him out a lot. Now can't really do it. But, yeah. Lately, when he comes over to help in the fish room, Doricula, my wife, will do a little bit of barbecuing. We all socially distance, so it'll be, my wife 10 feet away, me 10 feet away from Dean, and we all eat dinner. And, yeah, that's the way we do it. So, quick tour of the fish room. There's no way to pull it off because this camera stationary has to stay plugged in. You'll be getting a tour of the fish room, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, I believe. And I am working on it. I bought a specific thing. I'm working with the customer service team to, like, your thing sucks, and they won't give me another one yet. They're like, keep proving it doesn't work. And it's like, but I'm using it on other stuff and it works. So trying to get through that. Yeah, working on it. Trying to. All right, I'm going to be wrapping this up soon because now I'm, like, out of drink, I think. And I had a Snickers. And it's probably been going on for a minute and a half now. We've been around a while. All right. Since Dean and I are probably the same age, does that make me cool too? It makes you cooler than I am, for sure. I don't know. I mean, I really respect people that are older than me because they just have more life experiences. Even if they're different life experiences, they've seen more stuff. And, Dean, it's cool because he's into fish, and so he's got a lot of wisdom in fish. But even someone that's never kept a fish, you'd be like, they got a lot of wisdom in something else, right? And you can learn a lot from people that have just seen and experienced a lot. So, in general, I try to listen up to when people, they're like, oh, yeah, you were a farmer for 40 years? You probably know a thing or two about farms then. There's no amount of articles I'm going to be able to read to even be on the same level as that person. And so when you find someone that did something for a long time, they don't have to be old. You could just be like, I was an Olympic swimmer from the age of 12 to 32. Like, you know a lot about Olympic swimming. Like, I try to just shut up and listen to those people. Like, what do you know about that? I don't know. I don't need to know about Olympic swimming, but I'm going to learn a lot compared to reading about it. Candy's got so many emails. That's like the cue, right? Of like, all right, wrap up this live stream because I'm doing double duty here. That's not true. Because now she's going to be like, no, I didn't tell you to stop. And then people are going to be like, Candy, don't tell him to stop. How dare you? We are working on doing a joint live stream. Now that he can come over, we're just going to do it in person, though, and not have to do the remote part of it. Us oldsters are people too. I only say that I value people that are older than me because every day I get a day older, and someday I'm gonna be the older person, and I'll have set the groundwork for people to respect me. We should respect anyone regardless of what age they are. Any other human deserves respect if they're showing respect. So it's not even about age or anything like that. I like to make fun. So all right. Just got the med trio. I was reading the back of them, and the ICX says do a 25% water change every 24 hours when dosing. The medicine says do a water change on the 6th day, and the Paracleanse says doing a water change on the 3rd day. If I use them all at once, when do I do my water change? My advice would be watch the video I have on doing this, and it will help guide you. If you're dosing them all at the same time, you dose or you water change after 7 days. If you're dosing just one of those 3 products, you follow the directions on the box. If you want a 20-minute explanation really spelling that out, we have a video on that, and I would watch that video because I go over it over and over again and go, what about? And you go, now I get it because I watched a 20-minute video on it. So there you go. All right. Do I have whiptails from the last Peru trip? Indeed I do. They're in a 75-gallon aquarium. You will see them next Sunday on the video. Is ICX safe for snails? Yes, in my experience they are. 9 more likes? 9 more likes! Alright, I gotta go. I'm starting to get a little too crazy. I got my messages building up. I better reply and see if I'm going to schedule myself in at the warehouse tomorrow. Which, if I'm working at the warehouse, I'm not making videos. But if I'm not working at the warehouse, I could just be lazy too. Which I got a lot to get done though, so probably not be in lazy mode. I could spend the whole day with dog costumes though. That's time well spent. So, all right, I'm gonna wrap it up. 3 hours and 30 minutes. No, it can't be. No, I haven't been on that long. I think it's 2 hours and 30 minutes, something like that. Yeah, 2 hours and 36 minutes. That makes more sense. Thank you to everyone that became a member. I'll end this by saying I'm sorry of all the people that are going to leave a comment that probably just says, how dare you for having a member-only live stream. And my response to that officially would be, I could have totally had this live stream with just the members and you would have never seen it. And then you wouldn't have known. Don't worry, it's not going to be an all-the-time thing. It was one thing, wanted to drive some memberships, wanted to impress YouTube. I'll be back to my old salty self as normal next time. Maybe there'll be super chats, maybe there won't, who knows. But I do appreciate everyone who showed up, everyone who's listening, participates, whether it's this live stream or any other live stream or just the videos. In general, you guys make it possible for us to buy dog costumes and Snickers. And really, when you boil down life, that's what it's about. So, I'm thankful, and we'll see you in the Sunday video. And hopefully Jimmy will get here soon. Does he? I swear I saw something back there. I think I just, out of the corner of my own eye, I saw my own hand. That's how you know you've been streaming too long. Is there a hand over there? And then I see it pop up over here about 30 seconds later. What was that? All right. Losing my mind. Talk to you later.